Okay, let's do this. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. We have with us in the room very special guest in the house with me today. I have Ultratech. Brother, how you doing?
Thank you. I really appreciate the short intro there. I really hope that you weren't going to roll out the red carpet. As I said before, I'm not joking. The banter might be a bit loose on this one. I've got a belly full of roast chicken. I was literally laying in bed. Anybody else sends me that kind of email, that's a tomorrow email. That's a recycle bin kind of email. That is. That's a recycle bin. See you tomorrow email. But since it was you, Ingram, serious. But since it was you, since I owe you a favor, I had to come on and do it. So if anybody wants to talk here, White Fury, whatever you want to talk about, try to keep it British boxing. I can't remember the last time I watched no international boxing. I'm turning into a casual these days. But yeah,
let's keep it British and let's just keep it.
That's the time you want to ask. If you ask, you shall receive, Ingram. That's what happens.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate you, brother. I do appreciate it. Right, let's get straight into things. Fury versus Whyte. You know what? I have to be honest. I am sick and tired of hearing Tyson Fury call people bum, dosser, useless, blah, 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 blah. The full 9 yards. I'm sick and tired of it. And the thing is, you know what I really hope happens? I hope that Dillian Whyte doesn't fight Fury, pulls out, right? And Joshua and Whyte sign a deal to fight one another, which forces Fury to fight USYK. That's what I hope happens. That's what I hope happens. Because his mouth is too damn big. He talks too damn much.
Well, at least you want to see the best versus the best. I mean, I don't know, really. I mean, the thing is, the only thing that bothers me about it is, I'll be honest with you, right? I'll be honest with you. I've almost forgotten about this fight a little bit, to be honest. I've spent the last couple of days speaking with somebody and prepping for Brook versus Khan next week, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's a fight that's been a decade in the making, and finally, we're going to get to hear get a definitive result in that. So I've actually this week was supposed to be a week off. Obviously, I'm not going to do a live for Danning Jacobs and flipping John Ryder. I mean, that's a joke. So we're not going live for that. That's a teletext results the next day jobby. Yeah. Absolutely. So this week I'm on holiday, week off. Khan and Brook. As far as I'm concerned about Whyte versus Fury, I do want to see the fight because I think that it's time for Dillian Whyte to decide. What's he going to do? We've been hearing all this, bleeding heart bollocks for the last 1,000 days. He's been a mandatory. You know what, Dillian Whyte? It's only a matter of time before we get the motion picture, isn't it? Dillian Whyte, the motion picture. I don't know. Fucking Sidney Poitier as Dean White and Denzel Washington as Dillian. When is that coming out? When is that coming out? the Dillian Whyte motion picture.
To be fair.
Get 100 violins in there while they play the story about how Dillian's been hard done by.
There's a guy out at where I'm at here at the moment, and he is a spitting image of Dillian Whyte. I swear, it could literally be his brother. He walks like him, he talks like him, he does everything like Dillian Whyte. But I swear, I'll get a video. I'll video him once, and you'll see what I mean. Flipping, he could play Dillian Whyte.
Probably takes less money. Probably takes less of a cut than Dean as well. It's probably cheaper. African imports in. Get his African imports in.
Absolutely. There's your 10%, mate. 10%, mate. Not 20. 10% for you, mate.
Oh, fucking. What's the currency down there?
At the moment, I think it's a pound to the naira. So for £50, you'll get 50,000 naira, which ain't too bad at the moment, bro. And you know the best thing about being out here, you pay you pay for your rent once in a year. That's it. So you pay for your place, you rent your place, and that's it for the year. You don't pay no monthly rent, and like electricity is like something like £5 a month, and like £5 a month. I mean, you think that out, and then your grocery, you could probably do it on £30 a month as well. I mean, it's a different way of living out here.
I think someone you just mentioned 50,000 naira or whatever. I mean, if you times that by 6, I think you get Dillian Whyte's last purse. But anyway, listen, right? Listen, the bottom line of it is this, right? Tyson Fury says what he says. We all know Fury's a walking contradiction. He's an absolute walking contradiction. I stopped paying attention to anything Fury said that didn't involve boxing about 5 or 6 years ago. You know, I've criticised him 1,000,001 times for getting involved in the whole Israel and Palestine stuff and all that fucking BS he was putting out on his account. So I've had my moments with him. But the bottom line of it is this, right? Dillian Whyte, and I really don't think he's going to sign. I don't know if you've just heard Dean Whyte talk to Boxing Social. Dean Whyte has just said to Boxing Social about an hour or two ago, and I quote now, it's a direct quote from Dean Whyte. He said, the fight will be good. He said, if and when it happens. That's what he said. Those are his exact words. He said, I'm sure the fans want to see it. It's going to be a great fight if and when it happens. As far as I'm concerned now, we've been hearing about this man waiting for 1,000 days. He's getting $7 million for 40 minutes work or less, right? That's just for turning up. He's going to get $7 million US dollars just to turn up in a ring in Wembley Stadium in front of 90,000.
But come on, you're not that naive. It's not so much
the
money.
Okay, but it's the whole. But if he wins, right, he gets $11 million.
Well, but hold on. If he wins, what is he obligated to do afterwards?
No, there's no option. He's got no options.
Are you sure there's no options?
Yeah. Chris McKenna.
There's got to be a rematch clause there. There'll have to be a rematch clause.
No options. According to Chris McKenna, right? Who I personally think Chris McKenna is about as reliable as it gets, right? In the UK side of things, right? Right. Chris McKenna has come out on the record and said it in a tweet that's there for everybody to see. There's no rematch clause. There is no option. Simple as that. There's no rematch clause. Frank Warren has no option whatsoever on Dillian Whyte, and there is no rematch clause. This man is going to get $7 million to turn up, and if he wins, he gets $11 million. He can then walk away and go wherever he wants. Chris McKenna's words, not mine.
Okay. So basically, it's win or bust for Dillian Whyte.
There's no option. If there was an option, I'd still say take it. But if there was an option, I could understand.
All right,
because of the relationship between himself and Frank. But there's no option. As far as I'm aware.
If you're saying $7 million to fight Fury, yeah? But hold on. If I can get $12 million to fight Anthony Joshua in a fight that I think I can win now, I'd fight flipping Anthony Joshua. I leave Tyson Fury out in his ass. And I would force Fury then, him in his big loud mouth. I say, you know what? Screw you. I'm not to this press conference. I'm not being a part of this fight. I'm going to sign with Anthony Joshua. Me and him will fight. I'll kick Anthony Joshua's ass because I know I can beat him now. And then I'll come back for the winner of USYK versus Fury for undisputed. And if I get my ass kicked for undisputed, I'm going to get paid a lot more money for it. That to me makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. As sure as the day sky's blue, Dillian Whyte isn't being on as under USYK in a fight. That's just a fucking terrible. Okay, in my opinion, I think that's a bad matchup, USYK. So he doesn't want to get in the ring of USYK because that's just a very, very bad matchup for him, right? But what I would say is this, as far as Dillian Whyte's game, we've been hearing, and this is what people don't understand, right? I only go on what these fighters are saying, right? Dillian Whyte is the one who's been saying all he wants is shot Tyson Fury. Dillian Whyte's the one who's been saying Tyson Fury's afraid to fight him. Dillian Whyte's the one who's been coming out and saying Tyson Fury's a coward, right? Dillian Whyte's also propagated theories that the WBC have a conspiracy theory against him. I've never said those things. I've never said those things. That's what Dillian Whyte's been saying. I've never said those things.
I do believe, right, that when you are a free agent and you're not tied to anybody, let's go back to what Audley Harrison was saying and how promoters wanted a hold of him and would tell him what he should do with his career and that stuff. And I know firsthand because my godmother used to manage Audley Harrison until he got beat. She was managing him. So I know the ins and outs of what was going on with Audley and these nasty contracts and these promoters and how they operate behind the scenes and behind closed doors. So I would not be surprised if there was something going with Dillian Whyte in the WBC, right? And if you notice, as soon as Whyte went legal with WBC, suddenly things started moving. So you knew from the start that what the WBC was doing wasn't on the up. So once you go legal with them, suddenly he becomes mandatory. He gets knocked up by Povetkin.
Yeah,
that's
and then there was and there was also the Oscar Rivas scenario. People forget that.
Well, we look at that.
WBC, well, the WBC, I think, took him out or did something, or he had to hold on for a bit while they had to figure out what was going on. And I think that situation, again, I'm not going to get into it. I think that whole situation is one of the most disgusting situations I've ever heard of in British boxing. And nobody would have heard that. Nobody would have known what had got. Just remember that. Nobody would have known that whole scenario had it not been for Thomas Hauser. Had Thomas Hauser not come out and said what it said, everybody would have just carried on and gone on. You know, Oscar Rivas had no idea who he was getting in with or what was going on. That guy had no idea. They let him get into a boxing ring. To my knowledge, he never knew. He was never told, as far as I'm aware. I think that whole situation was disgusting. And Whyte, and I think the WBC did hold Whyte up while they were sort of going through that situation. So it wasn't just Povetkin as well. But anyway, this has got nothing to do with the fact. But hold on, let me just say one thing, Ingram. This has got nothing to do with the fact that Dillian Whyte's been calling Tyson Fury a coward. That's what he said, not my words. Those are his own words. He's been calling Tyson Fury a coward. He says Fury's afraid to fight him. He says he's the can man. If you go to his Twitter page, right?
He's the man who can get it. Yeah.
That's it. I'm the can man. I'm the real WBC champ of the world. Anyone who wants it, he can get it. He's getting a record purse. There's, as far as I'm aware, and Chris McKenna, I would say, and again, if there is something we don't know about in this contract, right? If Frank Warren is looking to tie Dillian Whyte up in an option, or if there is something in the contract, Dillian Whyte can say it. Simple. But he's not. He's not. He's just being silent. So if there's a problem with the contract, he's welcome to negotiate. That's what I would do. I would negotiate the contract. I would send it back with comments. I would say, I'm not happy with this. Can you change this? Can you change that? All we've heard at the minute from Team Whyte is two things. A, silence, yeah? And the only person who's really, really close to him that's come out and said anything, we haven't heard from his trainer, we haven't heard from his coach, we haven't heard from him. The only person we've really heard from who was actually in that camp, who's not Eddie Hearn, is his brother. And his brother is coming on Boxing Social saying if and when the fight happens, which doesn't exactly engender me with confidence. Doesn't bother me if the fight doesn't happen. But, you know, if it doesn't happen, I won't want to be a social media manager. Carry on.
Yeah, I think I want to take you back a bit about Fury. Now, I remember sitting down with him at Wembley. Who was fighting? I think it might be Hugh. I'm not sure, but it was at Wembley. And we sat down. We were eating together, and I asked him what he thought of Luis Ortiz. I know this is going to the side a bit, but he said, "Why would I fight Luis Ortiz? He's awkward." But why am I getting?
That's me. Sorry, Ingram. That's me. I was just loading up on my phone. No, that was me. Carry
on. Sorry about that. Okay. So I asked him, why wouldn't you fight Luis Ortiz? He said, I wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz because he's got no fans. I wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz because he doesn't bring any money to the table. And I wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz because he's flipping awkward. So he brought all those things to the table. Right? And then people said, oh, well, why didn't Dillian Whyte fight Luis Ortiz? For the same damn reasons. And let's be honest, when we look at Luis Ortiz, and it is going off a bit, but you look at Luis Ortiz, he got caught with PEDs. He got caught with PEDs. Povetkin got caught for PEDs. But both of those guys were being promoted by you-know-who as well. Povetkin was on 3 pay-per-view shows. So what I'm saying is rules bend when they want and when they're suited. Now, Dillian Whyte he's now dealing with not only Frank Warren, he's dealing with Bob Arum as well. And whatever else is behind the scenes with Tyson Fury. You don't know. You never know what's going on with negotiation until you have to negotiate. It's all right to talk about what it's like these presidents, for example. Before they get into office, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I promise you this, I promise you that. They get behind the door, they close the door behind them, and then when they come out, they start talking a whole heap of, well, I did say I was going to do this. However, I can't. I'm going to do this instead. and they start backtracking. So when I look at these situations, I always think, okay, it's all right to say what you say when you're not negotiating. Now you're negotiating with your team. How good is your team in terms of negotiating a super fight or a big fight? How good is your team? And then you're dealing with Warren and Aaron. These are the two people, remember, Warren and Aaron, that were and Hearn were talking around telling us that Joshua was going to fight Fury when we knew that Wilder was in arbitration. So I can't really take these... Go ahead. I can't really take these guys seriously at all until... And even if a press conference is announced, we've known in the past with Frank Warren, no disrespect to Frank, but didn't he announce press conference before
and
press conference and exactly. So...
But we know that's not going to happen this time, because we know that the 10% purse has been lodged with the WBC. I don't even care about these stupid boxing business things anyway. But for what it's worth, I will say 10%'s been lodged. So all that stuff about, there's no deposit, wait for the deposit. Deposit's been made, right? Sure. And the contract's been received by Dillian Whyte. He's had the contract for a couple of days. He's had it. He has had it. And Eddie Hearn's confirmed that as well. He has got the contract. Dillian Whyte's not waiting for a contract. Dillian Whyte has a contract.
I don't understand why Eddie Hearn, who's not promoting this fight, how Eddie Hearn is dealing with Dillian Whyte, and he's a free agent. I don't understand where Eddie comes into this. I don't understand anywhere where Eddie gets into it.
I think someone on the White side is telling Eddie everything that's going on.
Yeah, but Eddie's always saying like, "Oh, yeah, this is going on, and they've got the contracts, and this is going on." But you're not.
Because he knows what's going on. Son. Eddie knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. He's not involved in the promotion, but he knows what's going on. I'd expect Dillian Whyte or somebody in his team will be telling him everything that's going on.
This is the same guy that knew what was going on, but didn't know that Wilder had an arbitration going on.
Yeah, but that's Wilder. This is different. Whyte's is sort of his pet project, isn't he? It's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. All I come on and give is my opinion. My opinion is Eddie probably knows what's going on because Dillian's telling him, or someone in the camp's telling him. I think Eddie. I don't think Eddie won't be. But I think Eddie will be telling. You can let Dean Whyte is going on. Dean Whyte, the first interview Dean Whyte gave, right after Frank Warren won the burst bid, you'd think Dean would be the happiest man on the planet. His brother is going to get $7 million to turn up, right? Just to turn up. Not only that, if he wins, if he was to beat Fury, right?
Yep.
Possibly in Wembley Stadium, right? Lineal, ring, and WBC. He'd go down in history. As I said before, he would just be some flipping belt holder. If Dillian Whyte beat Tyson Fury, which he can, anything's possible in boxing, right? He wouldn't just be like a Charles Martin. Charles Martin was a belt holder. He held an IBF title. Who gives a damn? He was a belt holder. Dillian Whyte will go down in history. Like the lineage will be passed down from flipping, from whether it's Lewis to Vladimir Klitschko, all the way down to him. That's how important that would be. Like he would go down, he would be remembered forever. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean anything if you're not getting paid. But he's getting paid significantly more money than he's ever earned in his career before. So
but remember, when you're a free agent, there's the shit you can do and shit you can't do. When you've got a big promoter, and what Dillian Whyte has said, he sounds very legally aware of what he's saying. If and when it's not this fight's going to happen. And when. That sounds very legal to me. If and when. Because in a court of law, you said this fight was going to happen. You said and when. Go ahead.
So what would happen? All this, I don't understand in this stuff about Dillian Whyte can't talk because he's undergoing arbitration. By the way, there's some very, very interesting research that's been done around Dillian Whyte's arbitration, but we'll talk about that another time. Actually, maybe if the fight doesn't get announced, we'll have a chat about that because there are definitely question marks over certain things to do actually what actually is in arbitration and what isn't in arbitration. Like I said, but anyway, look, as far as I'm concerned, to me this is an open and shut case. Really, it's an absolute open and shut case. Yeah, if you want to go and fight Anthony Joshua for possibly more money, you can go and fight Anthony Joshua. You won't be a world champion. There won't be any world titles on the line. You won't be going down in history as the lineal champion. But you won't be a Ring Magazine champion. You can earn more money, and you probably get and I honestly think you get his head knocked off everything would be. But that's my opinion. You can go and fight Anthony Joshua, and that's absolutely fine. And then you can fight Alexander Usyk, and you probably lose to Usyk, and you won't be a world champion. So you can do that. All I will say is this: me personally, you know, I just personally, as a fan, I just want to know. I'm not really like, and this isn't against you; it's just in general, right?
Yeah.
More so, like the boxing business stuff, right? About like purse splits, purses, and all that.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what it is? Just like, I think a lot of people talk about like purse. Not you. I'm just saying in general. Like, a lot of people talk about purse splits and these things to try and like mask and get away from the bottom line. The bottom line of it is this. It's just as far as I'm concerned, right? Dillian Whyte's been calling for this particular fight, for a long time. He's accused his opponent of being a coward. He's been offered record amount of money to get in the ring, and he's going to earn more money than he's ever earned in his career before, and he's going to get the chance to be the WBC Ring Magazine and Lineal Championship. Now, I'm not one of these people who believes in legacy, right, so much, because legacy doesn't feed the kids, right? Legacy doesn't pay mortgages. But I'll tell you this now, right? The fact that you're having to convince somebody, and seriously, the fact that we're even having this conversation, and the fact that somebody, a boxer, might need convincing, no rematch clause, no option, according to Chris McKenna. If that changes and we find that there is an option, I'll take this back. This is based on what I know right now. No rematch clause, no option. $7 million for turning up, $11 million for winning, WBC, Ring Magazine, and Lineal. The fact that if anybody who has to even convince somebody or talk somebody into that kind of fight, or talk someone into that opportunity, alarm bells are ringing. Alarm bells are absolutely ringing. Alarm bells are ringing. You know, when you go into a purse bid, you know there's a chance you can lose that purse bid. So, you know, all this crap about, Frank's promoting it, well, tough. Shouldn't have taken the purse bid then. Shouldn't have gone into the purse bid. Shouldn't have let it go to purse bid if you was worried that Frank was gonna house the fight. That's the bottom line of it.
All right, let me throw this back at you. Tyson Fury called Usyk a pumped up, blown up middleweight, and he'd stomp on him and do this and the other. Well, surely Tyson Fury, why doesn't he take the Usyk fight to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
Do you know what? Honest to God, right? I have no idea what went on with that flipping Usyk fight. Listen, I don't watch IFL TV. When I watch Boxing Social, I literally turned it on, I scrolled to the right part, and that was it. When I watch IFL TV, I scroll to the bit I want to hear, and I switch off. I don't really get involved in the he said, she said stuff, right? I don't believe these fighters are scared of each other at all. Like, none of them. I don't think Dillian's scared of Fury. I don't think Usyk's scared of Fury. I don't think Fury's scared of Usyk. I heard, Eddie Hearn's version of events is Fury could have fought Usyk next, and he chose not to. For what I heard, and this could be absolute BS, and if it is BS, I apologize, right? But I heard something like Fury wanted a tune-up in March before he fought Usyk, or something like that, or he was scheduled to fight in March anyway, or something was going on where he said, or Usyk wasn't going to be ready at a certain date, or Usyk wasn't going to be ready until June, so Fury wanted to fight in March. So there was something in regards to that. I don't really pay attention. Well, I pay attention more to what's going to happen and what goes on in the ring. I don't agree with what Fury said. I think Usyk is definitely capable of. I think on paper, Usyk's probably his toughest fight easily on paper. On paper, I'd be more worried about him on paper against Usyk than against Whyte and AJ. And that's not saying Whyte and AJ can't beat him, but if you ask me on paper, which is the fight that you're worried the most about? It'd be Usyk out of those three, easy.
Okay.
Easy.
That's fair enough. Which brings
I'd be more worried. People think I'm this big Fury. I'm a big fan of him, but I'm a fan of him because of his ability. I'm not like people think I'm like a diehard Fury fan. I'm not. I always gravitate. If you look at the boxers though who I like, right? Who are the boxers ultra likes? Lomachenko, Rigondeaux, Mayweather, Usyk, Fury. I'm trying to think of some other guys that are in this. Crawford's all right. I think Crawford's a bit more of an athlete. I don't think he's as technically good as what people think he is, but I gravitate toward actually quite technical fighters. So when people think, but I think with Fury at the minute, he's being quite, slow-footed and things like that. Who's this guy?
Fury, Jesus. You're a Fury super fan.
Fucking hell, I wish I could have teeth that white. Where did he get his teeth? They're whiter than the fucking background. Fuck me. Where's he? Colgate? You ain't using Colgate. Where'd you get them done? Fucking looks like he's put his gums under a sun lounger. Listen, tonight I'm not in the I'm not in the mood tonight. Anyway, look, people can think what they want. You know, this is what people do on the internet. They listen, but then they want to attack you and do it. I don't really care. Same old thing. Same guys that last time I came on were blabbing on about Wilder and the conspiracy. We all know how that ended up. Wilder and the conspiracy and all this nonsense and blah, blah, blah. Wilder's going to do this and Wilder's going to do that. And look how that ended up. So we're not stressing over that. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I do think Usyk, though, is on paper, that could be a bad matchup. It's a weird one with Usyk because he had that great performance against Anthony Joshua. His performance against Chisora, I don't think it was as bad as what people thought. But his performance against Chisora wasn't amazing. Performance against Chas Witherspoon wasn't amazing. Performance against Bellew wasn't amazing. But I think Usyk's shown, to be fair, he has shown in fights that the bigger the challenge, the better he performs. That's what I've seen. And I think that's quite rare. People tend to forget about. Genuinely with Usyk, he's the kind of guy where it seems like the more in danger he is, the bigger puncher he goes up against, the better he performs. Gassiev looked a bit ropey in a couple of fights. Gassiev looked $1 million. Looked ropey in his fights against Anthony Joshua. Fought AJ, looked $1 million. You know?
But AJ boxed like an arsehole. So
yeah, AJ did box like an arsehole. But like I said before, we'll see. We'll see with Fury. Look, he'll lose. All these guys are going to lose. The more you fight, the best you lose. I don't see it as a problem. If Fury loses to Usyk, he loses to Usyk. If he loses to who? The only thing I don't say is I just don't go on about the he's scared and she's scared and.
No, I don't get excited about.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't mind that. But yeah, they're all going to lose. AJ lose. Fury will lose. They'll all lose. They'll all lose.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. But just just to finish off on White, he has to take this fight. Well, he doesn't have to take the fight.
No, he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to take the fight. He could not take the fight. Just don't go on social media for the next 6 months.
No, he could take the fight with Joshua. He could fight Joshua. Okay, what sells that more? What sells that more? Joshua versus Fury or Joshua versus White too?
Probably. I guess. I have no idea about these kind of things, but I'm going to have a wild guess. I'm going to say anything involving Anthony Joshua might sell more.
Yeah, I think it sells more.
I could be wrong, but I'm just going to guess. Anything with Anthony Joshua might sell more.
At Wembley, Joshua White for the summer of 2022 rematch.
Yeah, he can do it, and if he can make more money than he'd make against Fury, absolutely go for it. The problem, all I'll say is this: definitely switch off your mobile phone. Definitely switch off your mobile phone because when you talk for a year and a half, right? Don't forget they took legal action against WBC. Just think about that. Took legal action against an organisation. And then you decide not to fight the mandatory challenger. Just make sure you switch off your mobile phone. Go fight AJ. That's great. I won't pay for it. I'll watch it, but I won't pay for it. But I'm sure loads of people will.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. How many fights do you pay for?
What was the last? I pay for ones that I think deserve to be paid for. So what was the last fights? Not many. But what recently I've stepped my game up. What fights did I pay for? I paid for Wilder versus Fury 3.
Well, that was worthwhile.
I paid
that
for
was worth
Anthony
it.
I paid for Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk.
Would you pay for Brooke Khan?
Yeah, I'm going to pay for that. Only to shove one up the arse of you know who. Yeah. I'm going to pay for Brooke Khan. Yeah. It's not. I'll pay for Brooke Khan. Yeah, I'm going to pay for Brooke Khan.
Would you pay?
What's her matching word involved? I thought they just pay for it just for the lols.
Would you pay for?
Give some to Ben Shalom.
Would you pay for Serrano versus Taylor?
Mm-mm. No, I wouldn't.
Would you pay for Shields versus Marshall?
Probably not. But let me just say this again, right? Because I know people are going to use my words against me here, which is fine. Mm-hmm. People say, "Would you pay for it?" Actually, I would, but at the right price. See, if they were going to do me Serrano versus Taylor for $19.99, that's a no. That's a definite no. That $19.99 is going in a Waitrose shopping cart.
What about $17.95, mate? $17.95. $17.95. 95. You know, $17.95 makes all the difference.
Jeez. That $17.95 is going on a Waitrose best of sirloin, I would say, and I'll probably go and get some truffle mayonnaise.
Bro, what you can do, you can go into the expired section for the day, right? And take the best of the expired section, and then you can use that money, invest it nicely into Serrano versus Marshall.
Jesus.
Where's your gold medal? Where's your gold medal? Where's your gold medal?
I tell you what, listen, I don't know if Ben Shalom's listening, but
Ben Shalom.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's still pretending to be a representative for Dillian, but if Ben Shalom's listening, if he wants to do a deal, so if he wants to do something like, because I've heard rumors that Marshall versus Shields will be the first ever female pay-per-view or something. If they want to do that at a reasonable price, like $9.99 or something, and put some decent stuff on the undercard, then yeah, I'm happy to give money. It will be charity, of course. It's not because I'm dying to give my tenner away. It will be an active charity. But yeah, if they want to do that, then yeah, why not? I would do it. But when you start like $19.99 for Serrano and Taylor, see what you got to factor in is it's 2-minute rounds. Do you see that fight's going to go very, very quickly. That Serrano versus Taylor fight. And so, and see, this is what people need to remember. Instead of saying, "Oh, Ultra's a hater," I'm not saying anybody's saying that, but just in case people are listening, Ultra's a hater. He's not supporting women's boxing. In my opinion, Serrano versus Taylor is 2-minute rounds. Those 2-minute rounds are absolutely going to fly by, which is why I think Katie Taylor's going to win the fight. Which is probably why Amanda Serrano is now asking for 3-minute rounds. See, I was talking about that way before that fight happened. I said 2-minute rounds. I've got a feeling for Taylor, but anyway. Yeah, if they want to do it at a reasonable price, given that it's going to be a shorter fight, likely to be a shorter fight and this and that, maybe I'll consider
$12.95.
For what? For Taylor and Serrano?
Yeah.
Jeez. If you can get
have I got you that expired, looking at the expired section or the date of expiry section?
Jeez, I don't even know what it looks like. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
No, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm absolutely broke as a joke. I don't have money, but I haven't been in that section. But let me tell you. No, it's only because they don't have one in M&S. I don't think they have an expired section.
They do have one in. They do have one in.
Do they?
Come on, yes, they have, bro.
Hey, Waitrose, they do. Yeah, but not in M&S though. Not in M&S. And I do.
Are you sure? You sure, bro?
They have one. Let's ask the viewers. Do they have one?
Yeah, it's one of M&S. I haven't seen an M&S in a while.
Yeah.
Let's put it this
way.
Listen,
let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
If you can do me Liam Smith on the undercard versus some Mexican, then I'll hand over Katie Taylor versus Serrano. My
you got Liam Taylor. Liam Smith is fighting Jesse Vargas.
Jesse Vargas. Well, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
I think there needs to be an investigation over to how much of Sir Leonard Blanavic's money has ended up in Jesse Vargas and Tevin Farmer's pockets.
Oh boy!
Seriously, I think when they start auditing those accounts, it's going to be very, very funny to see how much of Sir Leonard Blanavic's billions have ended up in the pockets of Jesse Vargas and Tevin Farmer.
What about Canelo versus BIVOL for a moment? I think that's a great fight.
Is it?
You don't think it's a great fight?
It's good for Canelo, isn't it? I mean, he's a great fighter. It's up to him. I don't know. I mean, people get outraged at Canelo's opponents. I just don't really care. Bivol was Bivol, isn't he? He's a good fighter. I like Bivol, but I'm not sure if I've seen anything in his recent performances that makes me think, well, that's the guy to beat Canelo. I think Canelo's so good, right? Yeah. He's so good. I don't think it's hard to think of any. Well, yeah, well, he is in a minute. So it's hard to think of anybody you can really beat him. But if you ask me to put names on the list of who I'd like to see Canelo in the ring with, Bivol, I don't know. Having had to sit and watch Bivol get through Craig Richards in the manner he did. Do you understand that? I had to sit down with Bivol on an undercard with Craig Richards.
Yeah, but wait. Bivol's one of them kind of guys that again will raise his game. Bivol will raise his game.
Believe that. No, I actually really believe he will. I actually really do believe Bivol will probably. He's probably one of those guys because that Richards fight was actually bizarre. I actually thought he had Richards out a couple of times in that fight, and I was waiting for him to step on the gas. Never stepped on the gas. Those like those aren't good. But let me just say.
COVID era, that whole COVID era was a weird one. The whole COVID era, because that was around the main COVID time, wasn't it?
COVID era?
Yeah, because remember, a lot of people weren't watching boxing at that time. They were away. They didn't. The audiences weren't back then. They were fighting in audiences weren't in the arena at that time. Remember when Bivol fought Richards?
Yeah. Well, I think Craig Richards' system more than makes up for 90,000 anyway with the amount of screaming he does. So we're not using that.
You joke up.
It's just. I don't know what people want me to say. I mean, look. I mean, yeah, it's on paper. For those resume lovers, those people who are in love with resume.
Resume.
For those people there are people honestly who are in love with this stuff and spend every hour and waking day looking at box rec and comparing opponents. Good look. I mean, I don't know. It's good for them, man. If that's what floats your boat, if Canelo versus BIVOL is what gets you excited, go for it. I believe it's going to be DAZN pay-per-view. They're saying that if it happens, it's going to be DAZN pay-per-view. Have you heard this yet?
Well, DAZN's got to do something, haven't they?
No, but I thought, yeah, Triple G versus Canelo is a slam dunk pay-per-view, right? No one
is it?
That, yeah?
Really?
No, Triple G, no, they got to do that on pay-per-view. There's no way DAZN
like,
but the
BIVOL
and Canelo. Shit, BIVOL and Canelo. Mind you, it has to be. I mean, if Canelo and Liam Smith is pay-per-view, then how is Canelo and BIVOL not pay-per-view?
But wait, BIVOL is beating most. But wait, BIVOL's beating most of the light heavyweight division, barring BERTERBIEV. Who else hasn't he beat? He's beaten most of the light heavyweights in the world. He's beating Joe Smith, current world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I mean,
I know he's not the most exciting light heavyweight in the world. It's one of these guys that gets the job done. He's not the most exciting, but you know.
Yeah, no, listen, it is what it is. And you're right. I just feel like, look, it's a good fight. You know, will I watch it? I'll watch it. I'm not gonna, you know,
splash out on pay-per-view for it.
For me, no, I'm not gonna. Yeah, because I think that's a Canelo win anyway. I think that's a Canelo win. I think the guy who beats Canelo is, you know what, it would never happen. But and even if he took this fight and lost it, it wouldn't, you know, make him any less of a fighter. But USYK would be a terrible matchup for him at cruiserweight, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? That'd be a bad matchup for him. USYK, that would be a bad matchup for him. Because USYK's got the feet, but USYK's also got the power to keep him honest. Now, I just think that's what Caleb Plant lacked in that fight. And Caleb Plant and very, very few people have the power to keep Canelo honest in these fights. I actually think Canelo can be a lot better than what Ed did, you know, under another trainer as well. I'm not convinced about Eddie Reynoso. I'm not convinced about some of the tactics that Canelo employs in these fights because I think, like I said before, you know, let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I don't really see that much combination punching from Canelo in some of these fights. He seems to be walking these fighters down and loading up on big singles. And ironically, I saw a bit of Frank Sanchez on the Martin versus Ortiz undercard. And he was doing exactly the same thing as well. And I look at, again, I could be wrong, but look at some of the training videos that are coming out from the Reynoso camp. They do like to sit in front of that heavy bag and load up. You know, they like to sit on that heavy bag and they like to load up with the big shots. So I don't know, you know, I mean, I just think I'd like to see Canelo actually put some combinations, to put a few more combinations together because it does seem at the minute, and because he's so strong, because he's so physically gifted, right? Once he hits these guys, they're staying hit. Like he's hitting Caleb Plant, these guys stay hit, man. Once he lands that big left hook upstairs or that left hook to the body, I mean, these guys are staying hit. You know, you can see the
Canelo,
see the energy sapping out. But if you put him in a ring, if you put him in a ring with somebody who's got that feet, who's got the feet of a Caleb Plant, who's got a little bit of a slickness of a Plant, but maybe either has the power to hold him, to keep him a little bit more honest, or is able to absorb his shots a bit better. That could be interesting. Because I still think slick opponents are gonna especially with the way Canelo's fighting now. I think the slick opponents are what's going to give him a little bit more problems.
Let me ask you. Let me give you an opponent, Steve Collins, in his prime.
I can't remember. It's just a little bit after my time. But go on.
Steve Collins, great chin, high work rate. And Canelo reminds me in times of his work rate of Chris Eubank Jr. in the way they don't fight for 3 minutes. They fight for a minute and a half and they do a lot of posing or tuck up or they move around the ring. Canelo, if you look at me, fights for like a minute and a half of a fight, maybe 2 minutes. Doesn't fight for whole 3 minutes. And I believe a guy like Canelo, you've got to jump on him and put pressure on him, make him fight from bell to bell. And that's what guys like Michael Watson, that sort of style, and Steve Collins did, which Collins went straight in his face, Eubank, and just made Eubank work and pushed him because Eubank couldn't do a full 3 minutes. And nobody really pushes Canelo that way. They don't get right on top of him and push him. Put pressure on him.
I think Caleb Plant's game plan is pretty good. I just don't think Caleb Plant had the power to keep him honest at all in that fight. In the story, that's what it was for me. Caleb Plant actually boxed really well. Just couldn't put a dent in Canelo. Couldn't stop the advancing. Couldn't stop him advancing. Couldn't stop him stalking him, and just couldn't get a breather. I just think Canelo physically is a problem. We know he spars with heavyweights. That's why they're talking about him moving up to cruiserweight, because he's obviously sparring well. He's obviously sparring heavyweight, and he's obviously doing like really well against these heavyweights. I suspect he's doing really well against heavyweights. It won't surprise me. I suspect he's probably hurting some of them, and that's the reason why they're so keen on him going to cruiser.
Think about this. He probably is when he fights at cruiserweight anyway.
Yeah.
When he's fighting, his fight night, he's probably weighing like a cruiserweight.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said before, I think Canelo at the minute, like I think he can do more in the ring. That's me. I think he's much better than even what he's showing in the ring. To be honest, I think, like I said before, I don't think you're seeing the best of him at all. I definitely question some of the things that are going on. I think he made that Caleb Plant fight a little bit harder for him than he could have. And I'd like to see a little bit more activity, but I'd definitely like to see a little bit more setting up of punches from Canelo. I think like I said, when you watch him fight, it's very one-paced. He's walking in, stiff jab, and it's a stiff single. Don't see him double up on the jab much. Stiff single, loads up on the left hook, loads up on the straight right hand to the body. But at the minute, like I said before, he's so much stronger, he's so much bigger than these guys. Once he touches them, the whole fight changes. So we'll see.
Look at guy like BIVOL though. His amateur pedigree. He's got a very deep amateur pedigree. Very deep amateur pedigree, BIVOL. And as a pro, he's been very good as a pro, I think, as well. I know you're not a BIVOL fan. I know you're gonna fall asleep on BIVOL. Yeah. He's not exciting. No,
I understand.
He's not exciting, but
if you're not showing,
okay. All right,
if you're not showing killer instinct against Craig Richards, then I would question you going to
again, Canelo. But you're looking at Craig Richards in that fight. People can have off nights. People can have off nights.
That is true. That's very true.
And look, he fought what's his name, Joe Smith. And Joe Smith is big, he's strong, he comes forward, he throws a lot of punches. I argue he throws more punches than Canelo.
I haven't seen that actually. I need to see that.
Go look at that fight. And I think Joe Smith is a damn good fighter. In fact, I'd love to see Joe Smith versus Canelo. I think it'd be a great fight. I think a guy's got a high work rate, he's got a good chin, good engine, and can punch, will give Canelo problems. I really do believe that. You look at the guys that Canelo fought, right? You knew, like, Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith both were sitting ducks. First of all, Callum Smith, Joe Ryder already beat him. Because Callum Smith,
Callum Smith's a walking heavy bag.
As long
as Ingram, hold on a minute. Ingram, what has this got to do with Dillian Whyte possibly not taking this fight in 10 days?
Nothing, but you brought the Canelo thing up. Because I thought I just...
okay, go on. Carry on. I'm just throwing you curveball. Carry on.
Yeah, I know, but the whole Canelo thing is that you look at the guy, and I'm not going to use the word cherry pick, but I will say well managed. You fight Callum Smith, who already got beaten by Joe Ryder, right? So when you fight, as far as I was concerned, Callum Smith, you back him to ropes, he put his hands up, he's not going to give you any resistance. So that's Callum Smith. You look at Billy Joe Saunders, indisciplined, he's not a disciplined champion. He's a guy that, doing things outside the ring. So I mean, it's just a guy of Canelo walking him down, going to the body and breaking him down. And you saw what happened with that fight. Let's go to the fight before that. Who did he fight before Saunders?
Canelo.
Yeah,
I can't remember. He fought Yildirim at some point. I can't remember. I'm not sure that was.
But Yildirim was the fight before. Yildirim was the fight before that. And then we had Rocky Fielding as well. So come on, it's not like he's been fighting the greatest fighters. So of course,
that's not down to Canelo. That's because the zone were feeding him crap. The Yildirim I think was for some kind of WBT or mandatory position.
That was he was doing something for the Mexican fight with Mexican people. He said, you want to give him a free.
Yeah, but was that for the mandatory? Didn't he get something out? Wasn't Yildirim the mandatory, the number one or something? Was he not?
I'm not sure.
Yildirim had some position in the WBC. Rocky Fielding was a DAZN job because DAZN were feeding him shit. That was a DAZN job.
Yep.
Because he got paid a lot of money. Don't forget when he signed that deal, which lasted about 2 weeks, right? I mean, he had the biggest contract. He had the biggest contract in sports, didn't he?
It was him, and then didn't Golovkin get like 300 million?
Something like that. Golovkin got some money, and that's why you haven't seen Golovkin in the ring, as far as I'm aware, because they're not. It's a mix of COVID layoffs, but also I think they weren't happy with the opponents that he was intending to pick. Fine. Yeah, something to do with that. Golovkin signed a contract, but they didn't have control over who he could fight. And he wanted to fight in fights that they didn't want him to fight in. So that's apparently has been part of the reason. But
I don't like the word cherry picked. I think he was well managed. I think Canelo's been well managed. And you would well manage what they call it thing? Not a golden goat. What they call him? What they call a cash cow? Right, golden goat. A cash cow. He's a cash cow. So of course you're going to well manage. He's an investment. A lot of people invest in Canelo.
I'm sure there is some of that, but I don't think there's anybody that can really beat him anyway. I mean, who's going to beat him? So, before we wrap up, who's going to beat him? Up to 175 pound, who can beat him?
I don't think Benavides can do it. So put him out of it. He's too straight up. He's got slow feet, and he's been knocked down by guys that he's been knocked down by a guy before I've never heard of. So forget Benavides. I honestly think CHARLO needs more experience, but I think CHARLO's got Andrade, another one. He can punch a bit, but again, I don't like his chin. You get rocked by Williams, so I didn't say Andrade would beat him.
Andrade versus Canelo, you might as well call that a casket match. You'd be putting Andrade in the casket afterwards.
Yeah.
Bring Paul Bearer along. Paul Bearer would be standing there with the.
I would like to see CHARLO have a go against Canelo. I really would.
CHARLO.
Punch him, CHARLO. Big CHARLO.
Christ. I watched his last fight. Jesus fucking Christ. Who was that against? The one where I forgot who was the opponent. I forgot. It was the one where he was expected to completely knock the guy over. And I think the guy was a very, very tough guy. And the guy
you're not talking about Castano, are you? That's the younger one.
No, the younger one had that. The younger one had that disputed decision. The older one.
Yeah.
The older one. He was his last fight against. I actually watched it.
He beat up Derevyanchenko. He beat Derevyanchenko.
There was definitely. He definitely had some other fight. Maybe I'm getting them mixed up. I'll have a look. I'm going to cheat. I very rarely check box rec, but I'm going to do a cheat job. I'm sure that the big CHARLO had a fight against somebody, and
he says he's tailor made for CHARLO's tailor made. So CHARLO's got a good jab. He's good all round box. He can box off the front foot, box off the back foot. He's a puncher. He's a combination puncher. He's got nice uppercut. He's got a good uppercut. He throws a lot of punch. He's busy. He's a busy fighter and he can punch. You know what I mean? And he's got good defense as well. The only thing I don't like about CHARLO, he sits on the ropes for too long and he needs to fight a better opposition. That's my problem with CHARLO.
Right, mate, yeah, you probably know a lot more about him than me. I mean, the last time I watched boxing, which was probably many moons ago, the only opponents I've ever seen who I could think, I'd even be interested in seeing them fight Canelo was David Benavides and
okay.
Let me just give my opinion. I'm just going to say David Benavides, in my opinion, and BERTERBIEV, who I don't think would beat Canelo. Those are the only two that I would that if you ask me, right, first names out of my head, who would give him a real challenge on their day? BERTERBIEV and Benavides are just the two names that come to my mind.
Let me stop you right there. So BERTERBIEV, you're talking about, right? Right. First of all, BERTERBIEV, did he get dropped by Callum Johnson?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Callum Johnson, who hadn't fought for a year. And the last fight he had was against what's his name again? What's that? Frank Buglioni.
Yeah.
Callum Johnson.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, if you're asking me, the two guys who I think have got the best chance. Hold on. BERTERBIEV is one of the hardest punchers in the sport, right? Regardless of whether he got knocked down by Callum Johnson or not, right? What was very impressive is that was a very bad knockdown he survived against Callum. It's a very, very bad knockdown, actually. And he came up. And the fact that he got rid of Johnson like 2 rounds later, he is an absolutely murderous puncher. Hold on. Do I believe he can beat? Hold on. Let me just finish my point. Okay. Do I believe he can beat Canelo? No. But out of everybody else, I'm just saying, in my opinion, those are the two names that I'd like to see Canelo with. BERTERBIEV, because I think his power makes it interesting to see how Canelo would react to his power. And the other one would be Benavides, because I just think he's got height, speed, and power.
First of all, you know Canelo walks opponents down. He's going to walk opponents down. He'll see them punches coming at light heavyweight. He'll see them punches coming. They'll come slow at him. And what he'll do is put his hands up. He'll work BERTERBIEV back. When he works BERTERBIEV back, that will take away BERTERBIEV's thing, which is a puncher. He needs leverage. But Canelo's going to walk him back to the ropes. And just like Callum Johnson did, walk him back to the ropes and then land. And BERTERBIEV cannot fight off the back foot.
Yeah, he could do.
He's got no... And see now, I've given you CHARLO who can fight off the front foot, who can fight off the back foot, who's a combination. Okay. Wait, he can fight off the front foot, he can fight off the back foot, he can combination punch, and he can get off the ropes, which BERTERBIEV can't do. And he went 11 rounds of Marcus Brown, didn't he, the last fight? And he had his face bloody by Marcus Brown. That guy.
Yeah,
that guy.
But I'm just giving you my opinion, though. I hear what you're saying.
I know.
What you're saying is wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion.
I hear you. But in the same breath, you've turned and said, "Well, Charles, I saw his last fight." Yeah. But hold on,
It's just me. I'll be honest with you. It's just not a fight that I'm like. Charlo, it'd be interesting, but it's not a fight that I'd be watching it thinking, "Oh my God, is this the one Canelo's going to lose?" That's what I'm saying. Like
against Marcus Brown, who Jean Pascal beat the crap out of. Jean Pascal, come on, bro.
I still think BERTERBIEV is one of the hardest punchers in the sport of boxing by far. I think he's a murderous puncher.
Yeah,
that's what I fall back on. I just think he's a murderous puncher. So I think so. Hold on. So I just think anytime I just think if he does land on Canelo, if he might not, but if he does, it'd be interesting to see just how Canelo reacts and how Canelo goes about it. So for me, that for me personally, I'd be interested to see that. That's just my opinion.
Let me throw the Callum Smith story to you. Well, Callum Smith is a murderous body puncher. Hey, how many people did he drop in the first?
No, he's not.
Wait. No. Come on. Hold on. Callum Smith was knocking guys over the body shot and this stuff. Come on. That was by Matchroom. That was
Luke Blackledge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In the M&S Bank Arena.
Yeah. I am being a bit facetious there. But I hear you, but I don't know. But BERTERBIEV doesn't fill me with greatest confidence.
So let's wrap up, talking about AJ, USYK, Whyte, and all that. Let me upset a few more people. And you can even read out comments in a minute. I know. I think some people will be upset with me and stuff, as per usual. But it is what it is. You can't please everybody. All I can do is give my opinion. It's what it is. So I think somebody actually confirmed that there is no aspired section in M&S. London Mystics confirmed that. Yeah. I can confirm there's no expiry date section in M&S. You get yellow discount stickers on the items. Yeah. But I don't think home delivery anyway. But trust me, I'm not. To tell you who's got money, Chevin. Oh my God, he's got money.
He's an England. As he, Chev, we need to have a chat, mate. You need to make some investments in Lagos. But anyway, he's
genuinely got money.
$100 can go a long way out here.
You should see where he's living. You see his place. He's shown me his place where he's living. I think,
bro, coming up some of these young people out, man. Bro, coming up some of these young people out. Some of them ain't got, a pot to piss in.
Listen, I'm willing to help out anyone from Africa apart from that kid who looks like Dillian Whyte. Him, I'm not helping. There's a guy, there's a young boy who looks like a young Terence Crawford. I swear, he looks like Terence Crawford. Well, that's right. As long as he doesn't do any legal action, then we can help him.
Did you see my photo of Terence the other day? By the way, I posted that on Twitter.
With Terence Crawford? Yeah. No, I didn't see it.
I posted that on Twitter. Yeah, thought I'd catch your eye.
Maybe I taken down. No.
Okay.
I don't. Terence Crawford's not really on my radar at the minute.
On your radar, okay.
Trying to avoid.
Wait. Did somebody say? Did somebody say that? But wait. Nah, BWTM beat you sit in the ring. Well, hold on. What about Kovalev?
Yeah, I think Kovalev. To be fair, it was there for the taking. And do you know what? People say Kovalev. I think where was Kovalev in that fight? Was he ahead?
He was winning the fight by 11 rounds. He was winning it on the jab. He was winning on the jab.
I think on the actual cards he was a mile behind. But when I watched it, I think I had Kovalev like a round or two up at the point of knockout.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was a guy who nearly got knocked out by Anthony Yard, and then literally had a straight turnover into the Canelo fight. Like he had no rest, did he? Like Kovalev, didn't he? He fought Anthony Yard, and then 2 days later, Canelo was announced.
But wait, he was beating Canelo on the jab.
And Kovalev's tremendous. Yeah, but there's no Kovalev is tremendous though. A long range fighter. For me, he beat Andre Ward the first time. I don't know how Andre Ward got that decision the first time. For me, first time around, he beat Andre Ward without any question. Knocked him down. Knocked him. I don't understand how anybody that I could be wrong on that. People can give their opinion. On my opinion, that night is Andre Ward didn't take the title off
It did beat him. I hate to say that because
I have to be honest. I thought Kovalev actually outboxed him, and I had him ahead in the second fight until he got hit, dropped, and obviously he got stopped. But Kovalev actually was very, very good from range. Anyway, carry on. We'll finishing off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
what were we saying?
Yes. Dillian probably. I don't know if he will, but You're gonna do some nice numbers when Dillian doesn't turn up. Me myself, I'm just gonna, probably chill. I'm probably not. I'm planning to do some videos on Brook and Khan, but I'm waiting for Dillian not turn up in this fight.
He's got 10 days to make a decision. He might wait until the 9 days and a half, and then make a decision.
Mate, I tell you what, Dillian Whyte is a bigger, stronger man than me. He's more man than I have ever been. I was never man enough to step in the ring because I've got better things to do, but obviously two, because I was too afraid to lose and get humiliated in front of people. So Dillian Whyte is a million times a man, right, than I am, right? But I have to say this right now. I mean, I think that's going to be one of the biggest stories in a very, very long time if he doesn't turn up.
Wait, if he stalls for 10 days or 9 days, could there be whispers that he can make more money? Or is he stalling because he's trying to see how much he can make in a Joshua fight?
I have no idea. I mean, just some of the stuff that I'm hearing doesn't make.
Could Dillian Whyte fight Usyk for the championship of the world?
That's something that I have no idea. What I've said before, originally, my original theory was that Whyte and Hearn were in cahoots the whole time, and that Whyte will pull out of the Fury fight and fight AJ or Usyk or one of the two. Because they don't want AJ in the ring with Usyk next at all costs. Period. This is all about Anthony Joshua. As I keep saying to people over and over again, this is all about Anthony Joshua, in my opinion.
Of course it is.
That's that. But Eddie Hearn, who you got to take him at face value, has said that he's not in he's not had any discussions with Dillian Whyte. He's not talking to Dillian Whyte at the minute, really. Hold on. And he said Dillian's got to take the fight with Fury. That's what he said. So I take Eddie Hearn at his word there, but I'll be honest with you. For me, like I said, if Dillian Whyte doesn't take the fight with Fury, that's absolutely fine. Do what suits you. I won't call him a coward. I would never call a professional fighter a coward, but I would definitely say I don't think, however he's going to try and spin that or say that or whatever, I don't think it's going to wash well with people. I think most people now are at the point now where they've had enough. So I think that most people who spend all day thinking about this kind of thing now have kind of had enough. They've had enough of the splits. I think they've had enough of the purse bids. They've had enough of lawyers, arbitration. I think at this point, most boxing fans couldn't care less. I think they just want to see these two get in the ring and see who the better man is. And if that doesn't happen yet on the 21st of February, then I wouldn't want to be on social media. I might go and take a long holiday.
But it's, that Dillian Whyte has always been the protector or the standing man fan for Josh. If it goes wrong with Josh, bring in Dillian Whyte. It used to be Tony Bellew, remember that? So now Dillian White's taking that role up now. He's come back. Oh, yeah, on the comebacks, by the way, Ricky Hatton against Marc-Anthony Barrera.
I don't know if he's denied. I don't know. I couldn't care less about Ricky Hatton. It is very exciting fight to watch his prime, but
not now.
I couldn't care less about Hatton. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. If I thought it would get views on my channel for lols, I'd watch it. That's the only way I would sit through that. Is if I thought enough people would show up on the live show to have a laugh and a giggle at it, then I would.
What about Froch and CALZAGHE exhibition? Would you tune in for that?
Jesus fucking, oh my gosh.
Come on, man. You wouldn't tune in for Froch CALZAGHE?
Exhibition?
One on the cobblers. Just one on the cobblers.
Free 1 minute rounds down the local legislature. What is this?
No,
what are they
on
doing?
the coblers. On the coblers. As Froch said, on the coblers.
If Froch and CALZAGHE fought on the cobblers, I would pick Froch every single day of the week.
Why?
On the cobble, outside of boxing, I pick Carl Froch every single day of the week. Every single day of the week. On the cobblers. The last place Joe CALZAGHE needs to be fighting Carl Froch. He's on the cobblers. He needs to do it in a boxing ring. He needs to do it in a boxing ring with a referee and 10-ounce gloves or whatever. And they can split them up every minute and a half, and you can sit down in between rounds and have a nice drink of water. Don't want to be fighting Carl Froch on the cobbles. What does he want to do that for?
Huh?
Why does he want to do that for?
No. Well, that's what Froch was saying. He'd fight him on the cobblers if necessary.
Yeah, I think Froch, look, I think the thing with Froch is, Froch has his flaws. Look, Froch has many flaws, right? Thinks the earth is flat. That's one flaw. Slightly narcissistic. That's a second flaw. Because he's got lots of flaws with Carl Froch. Keeping in shape and staying in shape and taking professional fighting seriously.
Oh,
Carl Froch is takes. He's one of the when it comes to taking professional fighting seriously. Carl Froch is about as seriously as it gets, man. That's one thing I'll never take away from Carl Froch. Carl Froch is as serious as it gets. He's very serious in preparation, and he's very serious in who he fights. And you look at that run of opponents he fought, where he fought, and how he fought them. Yeah. He was fighting the best of the best in their primes, home or away from home, in fights that he wasn't fancied in. He won a few, he lost a few.
Calzaghe wasn't expected to be Kessler. Come on, bro.
Kessler. That was towards the end of his career, anyway. That's when he started fighting. What about the prime of Calzaghe? That WBO run he went on. Come on.
Kessler was unbeaten, and he was fresher than.
But hold on. I'm talking about that WBO run he went on, though. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Joe Calzaghe.
Well.
Exactly. His WBO reign of terror. Oh my God. This guy fought Evan Teixeira and fucking Cabaret Salem. Who else did he fight?
You could say that, but a lot of Frank Warren's fights.
Yeah, Frank protected them. A lot of that was Frank. Frank protected him.
Frank did a great job with him, I think.
I think Calzaghe would have won. In the boxing ring, I think Calzaghe would have won.
You know what?
On points. I'll go Calzaghe on points, yeah.
You say that about Frank. You say that about Frank, yeah, but you forget all those nights. Hatton, Ben, Eubank, flipping Hamed, Calzaghe, Hatton. Without Frank, that era of boxing where Frank was about. What was flipping Barry Hearn giving us? Herbie Hyde and Riddick Bowe.
But what's Frank delivered today? Frank's delivering us Hamza Shiraz and Jess Smith. So, look, it is what it is from Frank. You know, I'll be putting in the phone call in the morning. I'll be putting in the phone call in the morning. Frank needs up his game.
Fury and Dillian Whyte. Frank
is he?
Fury versus Wilder. Wait, Fury versus Wilder. What did Matchroom bring us?
Yeah, that's true. But is he going to get us Fury versus Whyte? I think what Frank's going to get us is I think what we're going to get is a 1 hour Frank Warren Raw on IFL TV with Umar Ahmed explaining why White hasn't signed that contract. That's what I'm expecting to happen next week.
Do me a favour. And the shoulder roll, and do me a favour.
That's what I'm expecting next week, honestly.
I've got the contract right here, my hands, right here. Look at the contract. No, don't record that. Take it off.
There's a few people that I'm trying to convince to come on my live show that used to be they were favourites on other shows many years ago.
Yeah,
they were favourites on other shows many years ago, and I'm trying to get in touch with a couple of them and get them to come back for a one-off live. And I caught one of them. I couldn't have a conversation with him, but I saw some of his recent comments on YouTube because he had his own channel on YouTube.
Okay.
And someone left him a comment about 5 months ago, and he said, "You know what? Don't even talk to me about boxing anymore. I'm just sick of boxing. Can't stand it. I'm absolutely sick of boxing."
It's not wingy, is it?
No, it's not wingy. No, it's not wingy. Absolutely, just sick of boxing. You know,
I can imagine.
Who can blame him? Really? Who can blame him? Like I said before, for me, Ingram, what it is, with me, honestly, I just give my opinions on things. That's all people don't understand, right? All I do is just give my opinion and try to have a laugh. I'm not, if you look at me, right, I never start on people. I never pick people out. If people try and say some funny shit, right, then sometimes I'll just say some funny stuff. Well, not they can have it, because I can't do anything. I can't fight. I'm not going to act like a tough guy or anything. But do you know what I mean? But sometimes, I'll have a laugh and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'll just give my opinion. But there are some people who get really well and truly wound up. They get really, really invested in these fights and stuff. But I just think in a minute, right? British boxing in particular is a bit of a joke in a minute. I think we're heading for a bit of a decline, really. I think the fact that we're still putting Brook and Carr on pay-per-view fucking 10 years after it.
But hold on.
Kind of tells you where we are, really, in British boxing.
You say we're in decline. I think we're coming out of a delusion. That's what I think. I don't think it's a
decline. Well, you're probably right. It's one of the two. I think, look, as much as I want to see Anthony Joshua take another loss, just for the loves, and I don't even have anything against Anthony Joshua. It's just his fan base.
His fan base. Yeah.
That fan base is just, I've never seen anything like that fan base.
No. I have.
But see, that's the one advantage. Yeah, okay,
Mayweather
fair enough,
Pacquiao.
fair enough. Yeah,
That
fair
was
enough.
terrible.
Fair enough. But I think Anthony Joshua fans are something different. I mean, they have this real gift for leaving threats in your like these people threaten your life, right? Anthony Joshua fans. They'll threaten your life and they'll threaten to, or they'll say that they hope you commit suicide and things like
Oh
that.
boy.
Because you disagree with who AJ fought 10, in his 10th fight, or blah blah blah, that kind of thing. They're quite a bizarre bunch. Obviously, fortunately, when you shop at Waitrose and M&S, you don't really have a habit of bumping into them that often. You might have to go down to, was it Netto for more for that kind of thing? I don't know, but yeah. So his fan base is, I think his fan base is toxic. AJ's cringeworthy. He says some of the funniest stuff ever. I think he's cringeworthy. I think he's talking.
I don't need a trainer. I don't need a trainer. I'll compete without a trainer.
Anthony Joshua's fast becoming boxing's answer to Umar Johnson, which is funny. You know what I mean? But
No,
he is.
no,
He is,
no,
though, isn't he?
No,
he is
he's
turned
not.
into boxing's answer to Umar, isn't he? Where I've been watching Umar. I've been watching Umar Johnson. For
how
going
can
on
you,
12,
bro?
For 12 years.
How
I
can
was watching Umar Johnson
no.
when people were actually taking the guy seriously.
Oh,
That's what I was watching. I was watching Umar Johnson when people were taking him seriously. Now, 10 to 12 years later, everybody's now caught on to the fact that he's a complete joke and they watch him for comedy value. Do you know what I mean? And I just think AJ, some of the stuff he comes out with, he's turning into the Umar Johnson of boxing. So I wouldn't mind seeing him take another loss. Only to see the meltdowns that would result online and have a giggle. But other than that, I think British boxing's on decline. The bad thing about AJ losing is when AJ does lose, I think it will sort of expose the cracks in British boxing, unfortunately. Because all that crap recently that we've been putting on. British boxing's been putting on some real shit recently, but we've been packaging it up on AJ undercards and stuff like that. Or we've been saying, "Oh, never mind." It's the run to, it's the build up to AJ's next fight get Victor Barda out of here. Let me address Victor Barda. This guy is a legend. Victor, if you want to come and be a moderator on my channel, I'll mod you up. I'll even pay you to come on because everybody be asking for you 24/7, Victor. That people be asking for you all day long. AJ has the best resume in boxing. Like him or not, he is the face of boxing. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I don't personally like. No, seriously.
You attract it.
No, seriously, to me, honestly, I've got nothing against Victor Barda, right? But I don't understand why anybody would care who's the face of boxing. It's when people are counting people's wallets and stuff. AJ made 80 million this fight and X fight only made 5 million. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I don't really take it to that level. I've never understood why people feel the need to go to that level. Do you know what I mean? I'd be more interested in making more money myself. I don't care who the face of boxing. I'm going to sit and argue about who the face of. I would disagree with that comment, by the way.
I would as well. I think
Anthony Joshua's a few fights from being face down on the mat, but that's
Canelo has probably got a better resume in boxing. Usyk's probably got a better resume. Usyk has got a better resume in boxing.
No. I mean, look, I don't want to talk about resume, but I'll tell you so on. Just only because it's Victor Barda, right? Only because it's the great Victor Barda who's asked that question. Derek Chisora has a far better resume. Have you seen Derek Chisora's resume? Get it up on BoxRec. No, but
Vitaly Klitschko.
I'll get it up on BoxRec. I mean, if you look at who Derek Chisora's for, the list of opponents, right, that Derek Chisora is for, I'm pretty sure that's by consensus, right? Better than the opponents that Anthony Joshua's fought in his career. Am I right or am I wrong on that? Yeah, BoxRec at the minute, it keeps asking me to log in, but that's all right. I'm just going to go to Wikipedia unless somebody wants to send me a link to BoxRec. But if you look at this, here we go. I've got his list of opponents here. If you look at who Derek Chisora's for, Derek Chisora's been in the ring of Tyson Fury twice, Robert Helenius, Vitaly Klitschko, David Haye, Malik Scott, Kevin Johnson, Kubrat Pulev, Dillian Whyte twice, Ajit Kabayel, Carlos Takam, David Price, Alexander Usyk, and Joseph Parker twice.
He's got a better resume than AJ. Sorry.
I don't see how anybody could say that if you just look at the list of names on BoxRec, which is I assume what they talk about when they talk about resume, right? Yeah. I don't see how anybody could say that Anthony Joshua's fought tougher competition than Derek Chisora. Again, let me say it one more time. Tyson Fury twice, Robert Helenius, Vitaly, not Vladimir, Vitaly Klitschko. Yeah, slightly past his prime, but still for Vitaly Klitschko. David Haye, right? I'm not saying Malik Scott was world class, but I'm just saying Malik Scott's a name on the resume, all right? Kevin Johnson is a name on the resume. Kubrat Pulev, Dillian Whyte twice, Ajit Kabayel, Carlos Takam, David Price, Alexander Usyk, and Joseph Parker twice. That's just my opinion.
Vlad outlanded Fury in almost every round. It was robbery. Everything was stacked against Vlad.
Trolling. Nah, he's just trolling.
He was unmotivated. Yeah,
he's just trolling. He's just trolling.
Do you worry for Chisora? Last fight was awful.
Who cares?
I'm hearing that Chisora might fight Huey Fury.
Yeah, good. Well, he's definitely not going to get knocked out in that fight, so
You better not.
take that to points. Oh God, if Huey Fury wins that, I'm giving him credit. Oh my God, I don't know. Listen, mate, this is what I'm talking about. British boxing being in decline. You know, honestly, what do you want me to do? You know,
But wait,
stay
you
up till
say
10 o'clock at night to watch Huey Fury.
You say it's in decline. But how many? I asked the question.
Or was he ever good in the first place? One of the two. Pick them.
Yeah. Well, how many pay-per-view fighters has Matchroom got? They could have had quite a few, but because of bad management and fast tracking and car crash fights being made, that's what's happened. I mean, flipping out.
Yeah. British boxing. I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? I think, like I said, it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, final comments, Ingram, and then I'm gonna dash. I'm supposed to be like 40 minutes. It's been like an hour and 10. If anybody wants to tune me out, and that's all right. If anybody wants to tune me out in the comment section, now's the time. I'll quickly have a giggle, and then I'll get on to doing better things in my time. The only thing I'll say is try not to take, not you, but in general, people try not to take boxing too seriously. And people really do, like just in general, you know. Like you see people on Twitter and they take it really like to heart, you know.
They do.
Be like me. If you expect to be disappointed, then you're off to a good start. Be like me. Just learn to expect the disappointment. Frank Warren wins a purse for Fury and White. I switch on my mobile phone today. I see Hamza Shiraz versus Jess Smith. Just learn to expect the disappointment. Learn to expect the disappointment, and everything will be all right.
Wait, haven't Matchroom got a whole load of slaughterhouse fights coming up? Mickelson versus
somebody DM me. I don't bet, right? But somebody DM me the card for this weekend between John Ryder and what's his name, Danny Jacobs, right?
Danny, glad to be here, Jacobs. Yes,
right. And somebody's just sent me. I've got it on my phone, a screenshot, and they've said to me, I don't bet, so I don't know if this is true. They've said, Ultra, I had to send you this. These are the odds for the Matchroom DAZN undercard fights for Ryder versus Jacobs on Saturday, which is a night off for me, obviously. £10 gets you back £3.50 on 7 fights. £10 gets you back £3.50 on 7 fights. I don't know what that means. Does that mean if you run an Aki and you get all 7 right, get £3.50? Let someone let me know what that means. I don't have a clue. But I'm looking at these odds, and these odds ain't looking too good. Austin Williams, 1 to 66 to win his fight. Cyrus Patterson's 166 to win his fight. Hopey Price is 1 to 33. 1 to 33. I mean, these cards, I mean, there's just no way. There's no way.
Right?
It's
you know what?
Diarrhea.
John Ryder wins.
Dyer had the rear on the end of it.
Exactly. I hope John Ryder wins the fight. You know, I really do. Hope John Ryder wins the
he's
fight.
All right. I hope John Ryder wins. He can put on that Canelo t-shirt. Remember he had that fucking Canelo t-shirt? Didn't he have that John Ryder versus Canelo Alvarez t-shirt? Do you remember when he was trying to manifest that fight into existence? And I'm pretty sure for a while he was training with a John Ryder versus Canelo t-shirt.
I thought he would have he'd have done fought better. I thought he'd have fought better than bloody Callum Smith against him. People laughed. I still think he would have done better than flipping Callum Smith.
Dude. Oh, Wizard Sleeve's here. It's Wizard Sleeve. Hope you're all doing well. I hope the trolling's going well, Wizard. Ingram, ask me anything you want. I'm going to go in a few minutes. Ask me anything you want.
Mate, Ultra, I cannot believe you've been on an hour and 30 minutes, and you haven't even mentioned about my contract.
Oh, what the cricket contract?
Yeah.
I don't really. Do you know what? Trust me when I say this. I don't use social media a lot. What I do is I fire a tweet and then I put my phone down. I don't really make a habit of finding it. But I'm glad that you've done one in cricket. Cricket is not really a sport that I know much about. I do watch the Ashes for some reason, so I know a lot about Ashes cricket. That's about it. That's all I know.
So now that means I will be like the head coach of over potentially 14 million people in an area.
Really
flipping 14 million people. Think about that a second.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people to convince.
If you can find any prospective batsmen that are better than Hasib Hamid or Rory
flipping
Burns,
hell. I
give me
can
a shout,
definitely do. I can definitely find players better than them for sure. You know, for sure. Flipping. Oh my god.
That's good.
I don't even get me started about the England team. That's another thing. That's another story altogether.
So you're not going to get into boxing coaching then?
I got something in the works for that. Absolutely. I'm keeping that very quiet, but we're working on it.
Might as well get involved. Everybody else is doing it these days, so you might as well.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Starting women's boxing. That's what they always seem to start them.
No, I wouldn't go there. Do you know what though?
I hear Ebony Bridges is looking for a coach.
Jesus Christ, bro. No,
She's got Mark Tibbs.
Do you know what? I think myself, you know, boxing flipping follows me everywhere, mate. Bro, I'm coaching in the oldest school in the country, right? In terms of historically. And at that school, round the corner, they're doing a boxing show. The boxing follows me wherever I'm going, it's following me. But yeah, I want to do some stuff in before touch plastic, before my maker takes me, I want to at least produce a champion in boxing before then. I really do. You know what I mean?
Just trying to think of who you could coach.
I've turned down at least 3 times the opportunity to work and be mentored by Uncle Bashir. I mean, that's one of the best coaches that are around. And you know what I mean? I just feel
who's a better coach, him or Ben Davison? Would you say you to pick between the two?
That's a difficult decision to make, mate.
Ben Davison's got the iPad though, isn't he? Ben Davison's got that decision desk, isn't he? No, but yes, isn't he? He's got that decision desk with all the iPads around him, isn't he? What was that? Does that not make you a good trainer or something? He was fucking sitting by ringside with fucking 10 iPads.
Man.
Good trainer.
Oh, you're not right, man. You're not right. You're just not right, bro. You're not right, bro. You're not right.
I don't know.
You're not right.
I thought I made you.
You're not right, bro. Bro, you're not right. But anyway,
listen. Look, honestly, I don't know anything about boxing, but I'll say it here. I definitely think I could do a better job than Dave Caldwell. 100%. I'll say that right now. I definitely think I reckon if you give me nine weeks with a training with a fighter, I reckon I'll produce better results than David Caldwell.
I said Dave Caldwell. I said he'd have 3 fights with David Price. He'll have 2 bums and then get knocked out against a decent fighter. He got 2 fights and then he fought against Christian and got knocked out. And Caldwell was furious at me about it.
I'll tell you, a good someone to train. If I could pick someone for you, which is Zora, honestly, it'd be great fighter to train because, honestly to God, the guy is just.
Bro,
you could make the tiniest change with him. You could look like $1 million with him. He fights so badly in something. The way he fights, he's so technically deficient in some of the things that he does, right? That you don't have to implement like the. If you could get Derek Chisora, right, to not look at the floor when he rolls. So if you could get Derek Chisora to actually focus on the opponent's torso, yeah, or try and keep his eyes off the canvas when he rolls, doing something like that would actually make him so much more. Dillian Whyte, by the way, does the same thing. That's what people say. Oh, Dillian Whyte's susceptible to uppercuts, right? Which I'm not sure I believe in. But I'm not sure I believe in that. But I will say one thing, right, about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora, one thing they both have in common is when they roll punches, right? So if you go back and watch Povetkin versus Whyte too, Whyte rolls the overhand right from Povetkin. His eyes are on the canvas. And if you watch Whyte when he gets when he gets knocked down with an uppercut by Oscar Rivas, exactly the same thing. He actually rolls underneath a shot. His head hits the canvas, so his eyes are on the canvas. At that point, you're a sitting duck because you have no idea what's coming back, what punch your opponent's going to pick. And Oscar Rivas switches up and hits him with an uppercut as his head's pointing to the floor. So. Derek Chisora is someone who does that. And he's been doing that in the ring that's like suicidal doing that in the ring. If you're a short fighter, if you want to play the Joe Frazier game and roll punches, roll underneath shots, it's really helpful if you don't focus on the floor, on the canvas, but try and keep your eyes on the opponent because it's one of the 2 things. One is you can't see what the opponent's throwing back, and it's 2, the shots that you don't see are the ones that can really get you out of there. And if you're not looking and an uppercut comes your way, you're just not going to have your legs there. So someone like Chisora, honestly, you could implement some very, very basic stuff with Chisora and end up looking like $1 million because I don't know who he's been paying these guys money, but the way he's coming into fight is just unbelievable. Mind you, though, he is an absolute nutcase. He's a nutcase to deal with, isn't he?
I can tell you firsthand. I was very, very close to Derek Chisora's camp. So for a long while, I was with Don Charles and
The
that
architect.
team there. I've seen Derek right up close. I saw him when he was sparring with Zach and what's the other guy, Ustinov. That's when they were in their prime. If they ever in their prime, but in their prime, you know, he laid out Ustinov flat when he was sparring for the Tyson Fury second fight, and he damaged his hand on Wax head, and that's why the thumb. I was there at the sparring session, and the thumb got blown out, and you know that's why that fight. I think it may have been Ustinov even. That's why the thumb got blown out during sparring. That's why that fight got postponed. But yeah, Derek's, you know, he had a fight with him and his trainer, Don Charles. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I think, you know, you have to fight. You have to find Derek. How do I put it? Derek is one of those guys that if he respects you as a trainer, you know, you're going to get places with. But if he doesn't respect you, you know, I don't know. If he doesn't respect you, then you've got issues, got problems. You know, so he's a good fighter, though. You know, Derek he could have been. So I think he was on that little run. You remember that run he had when he was European champion, when he won the European Championship. He was on a nice run there. Beat Malik Scott.
I think he's
knocked down.
It a day.
Now he does. Yeah, I think he should.
But
I don't think he's not going to fight. He's not going to fight Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder. Oh, one final point. Daniel Dubois, mandatory for Trevor Bryan.
I can't remember the last time I've seen Trevor Bryan. I think everybody's saying Dubois is going to win by knockout. It is what it is. I've never been that high on Dubois anyway. I've never been that high on Dubois. Even when I was on the Frank Warren payroll, I wasn't that high on Dan Dubois. I think I like Dan Dubois as a person. I love him as a person. I think the way the media threw him under the bus under the Joe Joyce fight was disgusting. And if I was Daniel Dubois in that situation, I would have taken names down. You know, I would have taken names down, and I would just be certain people in the media I would never speak to again for the way he was thrown under a bus. He's 20 or 21, 22. But unfortunately for Daniel Dubois, you know, is he the future of the heavyweight division? I've never seen anything from Daniel Dubois to suggest that. To be honest, I think he's stiff, and I think he throws the same combination over and over again. Even his heavy bag work, he's not fluid. Even on a heavy bag, he's. But wait, he's not.
I think that he's good Shane McGuigan, but I've always said Daniel Dubois needs a father figure with him. He does.
What he needs is his sister's feet. That's what he needs. His sister's got great feet.
Yeah.
He needs his sister's feet. As well. His sister's got really good feet. You look at the footwork between the two. She's really light on her feet. She actually understands angles. I can't remember the last time I saw Daniel Dubois as an angle, but I could be wrong. Angle. Mainly seems to be walk straight down the line, jab, 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 right hand. Walk down the line, jab, 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 right hand. And you get the occasional left hook, and you might get the occasional left hook to the body if it's you know, if the stars align on a cold Wednesday evening down at the Copper Box, you might get a left hook to the body. But other than that, you're not getting much else. No, I'm not just being real. I'm just definitely not getting much else. He's got incredible power. He's got incredible power, and he's got a great jab. Yeah, he's got incredible power, and he's got a great jab. My problem with Daniel Dubois is, like I said before, jab, 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 right hand. That's the same combination. When someone takes the jab away from him, he's going to be in trouble. Joe Joyce took his jab away from him by out-jabbing him, beating him to jab, and he was in trouble in that fight.
Fabio Wardley? Fabio Wardley and the other guy.
Oh, God.
What's the other guy's name? The cruiserweight who fights at heavyweight. What's his name? Bald-headed. You know what I'm talking about. Babbage, yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Where are we going with that?
Fabio Wardley has actually done really well because he's a white-collar boxer. And in some ways, Fabio Wardley's actually representing, because I really haven't spent lots of time in amateur gyms, to be honest. I spend more time in the bargain basement, bargain bucket gyms where I belong at my skill level, which is the white-collar gyms. And Fabio Wardley actually, he's obviously too small for the weight, but he actually has some actual talent. You know, he does have some talent, especially for someone who had no amateur background and actually had came from white collar. Actually, he's done very, very well for himself. Obviously, he's not. I'm not putting money on him to be a champion. Babbage can be a champion, maybe at Bridgerweight or something. As long as they keep him away from the big guns at heavyweight, he'll be all right. I don't know. Yeah. When he gets hit, he's going to go, though, isn't he? When he gets hit by someone big, he's probably going to go,
clean. He's going to go. Yeah,
he's going to go, isn't he? Writing's on the wall for him. But they've done the right thing. He said a lot, and they've done the right thing, Matchroom. That's one thing they do. when you talk it, the way Matchroom rushed him in, Babbage has been good. They didn't just say, "Oh, well, what if he gets found out? Oh, let's give him a few," But they just said, "Look, this guy's got a bit of hype around him, right? People like him. People like the way he goes on. People like what he's saying. Let's put him top of the bill. Let's put him second to last on the bill. They will roll with you." Queensbury, they don't do that. So I'm thinking of a fight in particular, but yeah, too much. Sometimes you just need to roll with it and say, "Look, it is what it is. Let's roll with it."
But that's what they rolled with the dice with Dubois. Only because Frank had a 5-year deal with Dubois. Otherwise, he would never take that chance.
I think Dubois is all right because Dubois is actually going to be something, in my opinion. Like Dubois is world class, or is going to be world class, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to end up becoming a unified champion or fucking champion. Can he be a belt holder? Yeah, he can. Absolutely.
What about Joe Joyce?
Dubois. Yeah. I mean,
I'm backing him to be world champion.
Yeah, he can be a belt holder. Absolutely. He can be a belt holder, yeah. But I think that lack of ability, that lack of technique is going to come back to haunt him at some point. How much longer can you go on letting punches bounce off your chin like Magneto?
Well, George Foreman did it for quite a while.
He did. George Foreman did do it for quite a while. But that was George Foreman. George Foreman was like one of the biggest punches in the history of boxing.
Yeah, but again, he was the slowest.
He was like a freak. George Foreman was the biggest punch in the history of boxing.
Yeah,
in the history of boxing.
But he was. Look at the type of opposition that Joe Joyce has been fighting for 13 or 14 fights. Yeah. Name me a heavyweight who's got a better resume. I hate to use the word resume. Who's got better, more experienced fighters than this guy at 13 or 14 fights. Name him.
Yeah, he's good. He's all right. But he's going to get, I just feel, if you be honest, that stuff, boxing is not, you want to look after yourself in the ring. That's all I'm
Of course you do.
You want to, I like fighters who look after themselves in the ring. This is why people say, "Oh, Ultra, why do you like the fighters that you do?" Not all the time, because I actually like Dillian Whyte, but because he's exciting, because of the stuff he says outside of the ring.
Yeah.
But some fighters I like who are, you want to look after yourself and you want to, not get hit. You want to hit and not get hit and look after yourself.
Hold on. He didn't take too many flush punches from Dubois. A lot of those punches he pulled shit away from.
Took some massive shots.
No, he didn't. He didn't take as many shots.
Dubois fucking spun his chin around loads of times.
Yeah,
if YouTube actually let us play that video, my God, Dubois was hitting him with some shots. I actually thought Dubois, I wouldn't say rocked with Joe Joyce, but definitely felt the power. Dubois spun his jaw around it, and Dubois had some good rounds. Dubois had some good rounds when he was landing flush on the chin. I think people have this perception that Joyce absolutely murdered Dubois.
Well, he didn't do that. He definitely didn't do that.
No, Dubois was in the fight, but he was in the fight. Joe Joyce ground him down with the jab, and he beat him to a pulp with his jab. Joe Joyce was taking some big shots in that fight. Big shots. Took big shots. He took them well. He took them well.
Mentally, you look at the two guys. One was a boy and one was a man. When you listen to the two of them talk, Dubois just wasn't ready for that stage. If that fight was taken a year later, I think Dubois would be ready.
I think Dubois can beat Joe Joyce in a rematch. I've always said that. On points. I think Dubois on points. With the right game plan. Not going in there to knock the guy out like he's been going on in his previous fights against tomato cans. Yeah. But if he goes in with the impression of, look, I'm going to go in. I'm going to try and take the rounds off behind the jab, vary the jab upstairs, downstairs, and show a bit of movement. And I think Daniel Dubois is actually capable. You're talking about a guy. You're talking about a guy in Joe Joyce who was arguably a gold medal winner, right? Olympic gold medal winner versus an ABA. Did he win the ABAs, Daniel Dubois? Or did he choke? Yeah. Did he choke in the ABAs? Was it the ABAs he choked? I think being Olympic, I think whether you're an Olympic medalist or not, your style is your style, right? So Deontay Wilder won an Olympic medal, right? Yeah, it was a bronze medal. And there's a lot of question marks about his technique, right? There's a lot of question marks about his technique. But nobody questions how good of an actual boxer that he is, which is fine. Yeah, but his punching power. Yeah, his punching power is unbelievable. The same way Joe Joyce's chin is unbelievable. But what I'm saying is Joe Joyce, right? At the end of the day, there's only so long in boxing that you can go on leaving your chin out to dry and saying, I've got, and letting your chin do the work. eventually you might not get knocked out, you might get out pointing or stuff, but I need to see more than that. That's just me, my opinion. I like to see more than that in boxing.
Oh yeah, of course. I will not say that George Joyce was defensively responsible, because he goes against a lot of people. You know, he's not defensively responsible at all.
I would like to see him get hit less, a lot less in fights.
Absolutely,
a lot less for his own health as well. That's not good for your health, getting hit like that in fights.
No, it isn't.
That's not good. That's no good. That's no good for you. Getting hit in the head like that. It's fucking
but a lot of these, but a lot of these guys are actually anti-boxing, because boxing is about hit and not getting hit. But if you talk to a lot of these guys, they're interested in Gatti and Ward. That's what they call boxing.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
But you see, Mayweather is boxing, right? But they don't like Mayweather because he's not like Gatti and Ward. But he's technical, right? So are they boxing fans or anti-boxing fans?
No, you can't win. You can't win. People are always going to follow to criticize you. If you hit and don't get hit, you're boring. You're ducking. You're this. You're running. If you get
hold on, they say you said Joyce relies on his chin way too much. What about Golovkin?
Yeah. Nah. No, I don't think so.
Golovkin
not in the same way Joyce does. Not in the same way Joyce does.
I've seen Golovkin stand there and take 3-4 punches on his chin, and then come forward.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've also seen Golovkin win fights on. I mean, when he beat David Lemieux, I've seen Golovkin do that. You're right. I've seen Golovkin sit in the pocket and let people hit him clean on the chin and walk him down. But I've also seen Golovkin have one of the best jabs in boxing. Right. I've also seen Golovkin. He's one of the very, very best. You see so many guys in boxing that smother their own work when they get to the inside.
He's pretty
smother
good
their own work. Tyson Fury smothers his own. Tyson Fury always smothers his own work when he's trying. That's why he's up there in my book for actually being one of the dodgiest finishers in boxing, right up there with Joseph Parker and who else. There's a couple of people that couldn't finish a dinner, and he's right up there with Joseph Parker. He smothers his own work a lot, didn't he? Smothers his own work a lot, didn't he? Golovkin. People don't understand how difficult it is to do the stuff he does, and how he measures that distance when he's got fighters cool, when he's got fighters backed up against. But he's always got one arm's length. He's measuring the jab. And let me just also say, the way Golovkin sets up shots is so intelligent. The way he dummies, feints, and feels around and picks shots and feels around. That guy's on a different level. Let me tell you, that guy is on a different level.
Keep going. How many world class
fighters
has he
finish.
knocked out?
Keep going. Keep going. I'm just talking about technically, though.
Wait.
Well, let me finish. Let me get my point.
Okay, go on.
Yes, Darryl, big up. I mean, technically, it's all I'm saying, I'm not talking about resume, whatever. All I'm saying is,
okay.
I'm talking about technically, from a technical perspective.
Okay, right.
Golovkin, hold on, let me finish my point.
Golovkin
does a lot more than just rely on his chin, right? He's got genuine technical ability to go along with it. He knows how to space himself. He knows how to dummy, feint, and the way he selects his shots, particularly when he's got someone hurt, or particularly when he's getting somebody hurt. When he was at his peak, I thought he was one of the best in the business at punch selection. I would say to any youngsters, right? Because I see it in the gym all the time in white collar boxing. If you ever want to understand when you've got somebody backed up against the ropes, how to actually select shots, not just sit there clubbing away at the body, actually select, dummy, pivot around fighters, sell them a shot, come back with another shot. Golovkin at his peak is someone to watch.
Let me ask you a question. You say all that stuff, How many elite fighters?
Okay.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Dropped out.
Wait. How many elite fighters Golovkin knocked out?
Yeah.
You're talking technique,
Because he shots very well, though.
Oh, wait.
It doesn't detract away from the fact that he's got an infinitely better skill set. Wait, hold on a minute. It doesn't take away. Yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that Gennady Golovkin has an infinitely better skill set than Joe Joyce will ever have in his entire career.
Well,
you can't compare the skill sets. Gennady Golovkin, skill for skill.
Hold on.
He's in a completely different league to Joe Joyce.
Let me bring in Carl Froch to this argument, because Carl Froch used his chin and he was never a great skill.
Froch and Joe Joyce, that's a little bit more of an equal discussion.
But hold on.
Golovkin and Joyce. Golovkin's technically in a different planet. Golovkin technically is on a different planet
has knocked out more elite fighters than Golovkin has. Bute, Jermaine Taylor.
Elite. Bute was elite.
How long was Bute world champion for? He was elite. Super middleweight. back in the day.
How did he do? Hold on a minute. How did he do the Super Six? Hold on. How did he do the Super Six when the elite fighters fought? Oh, that's right, because he wasn't elite.
But wait, hold on, wait. Oh, okay.
Because he wasn't elite.
Wait,
right, okay.
wait. Hold on, right? But BUTE was considered the #1 super middleweight in the world. He was, and when FROCH went to fight him at that time, FROCH was the underdog going into that fight.
Yeah, had Andre Ward moved up? I assume has Andre Ward moved up at that point? At that time, where people said BUTE was the #1 in the world, I assume Andre Ward either must have moved up or gone for a walk somewhere and never come back.
No, Andre Ward was he not in the Super Six then?
No, that was after.
Well, come out
FROCH, yeah, it was after. Yeah, maybe he moved up. I'm assuming he did. Because I was never high on Lucian BUTE ever.
I wasn't a big fan of him, but it is what it is where he was.
I actually thought FROCH had a good chance. I never understood all this. FROCH is a massive underdog against Lucian BUTE. But anyway, yeah. I won't call BUTE elite, but it doesn't matter. You would. That's your opinion, so we'll count him. Jermaine Taylor. No, so it's your opinion. Listen, I don't know. Jermaine Taylor's elite now, yeah? Jermaine Taylor.
What do you mean he beat Bernard Hopkins twice? He was undisputed middleweight champion of the world. And he moved up to super middleweight. Come on.
Okay.
Jermaine Taylor's elite,
yeah? He's elite because he beat Bernard Hopkins.
Come on, bro. Of course Jermaine Taylor was elite.
Okay. Does that not just mean he had does that not just mean he had Bernard Hopkins' number? Because Hopkins was the kind of fighter who always kind of tend to struggle against high output, very athletic fighters. And Jermaine Taylor was quite a fresher fighter, quite active, and he managed to outpoint Hopkins on 2 occasions.
He was wait. He was undisputed middleweight champion of the world, and at the time he was #1 in the world, and he was in the pound for pound ranking.
What happened when he fought Kenny Pavlik?
So what did Hopkins do to Kenny Pavlik? Wait. What did Hopkins do to Pavlik? Didn't he beat him like a boy all round for 12 rounds?
Taylor's elite. Wait, I'm just saying.
Wait. Taylor beat Hopkins. Hopkins turned around and beat the crap out of Pavlik.
Yeah. What did Pavlik do? What happened when Pavlik fought Taylor?
Pavlik beat Taylor up. He did.
Right, in how many rounds?
God, he stopped him, didn't he? Late. Stopped him late.
Late?
He stopped him late. Yeah,
did he stop him really early? How many times did Pavlik and Taylor fight? Let me see. I thought one of them he stopped him
stopped him late? I think he stopped him late.
I have to cheat now. I'm old, Ingram. I've got no.
What's that? Golovkin's been avoided his whole career. Allow it, Ingram. Avoided, really? Avoided. No, he hasn't. He fought flipping. No, he fought Danny Jacobs.
He was begging for that Canelo fight.
He had Kell Brook move up from welterweight to middleweight. That's hard.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't his fault. That had nothing to do with Golovkin.
Come on, bro.
That was because Chris Eubank Jr. backed out at the last minute.
That's not avoided, bro. It's not avoided, bro. It's not avoided, bro. That's nonsense. Julian Jackson was avoided. That's nonsense. Julian Jackson was avoided. Mike McCallum was avoided. Julian Jackson was avoided, and for a reason. Golovkin avoided. Come on. How many elite fighters has Golovkin knocked out?
You're right about
to be avoided.
Sorry, he wasn't early. Yeah, he knocked out Taylor in the seventh.
Okay, yeah, well, it was late. You weren't early.
Yeah, it went late. Middle
rounds. All right, mid rounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting, isn't it? Elite.
It is.
He also got outpointed in a rematch.
Yeah, but Pavlik was a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
And he was considered at the time, Pavlik, #1 in the world. Pavlik was the #1 guy in the world back then. Not now, but back then he was the #1 guy. Kelly Pavlik was. Just like Jermaine Taylor was. And Carl Froch was the underdog going in against Taylor, and his ass was getting beat by Taylor. And got dropped in that fight. He got dropped once or twice by Taylor in that fight. Yeah, so come on. And not many guys put Froch in his ass.
I think Golovkin is a hell of a fighter.
No, I don't know about that.
Hell of a fighter.
He's a good fighter, man. I don't know about hell of a fighter. Who did he knock out?
Let me tell you how good Golovkin was.
Oh my God.
Golovkin wasn't even at his peak when he fought Canelo. I don't think Golovkin was even at his peak when he fought Canelo for the first time. Mainly because that fight had took so many years to happen. And when he fought the first time against Canelo Alvarez, I mean, I think he won the second one. And I understand people want to debate that. That's fine. But the first one, Jesus. And look how good Canelo is. Look what Golovkin did to Canelo in that first fight.
Right.
And that in itself tells you how good Golovkin was. And
Johnny Nelson was avoided.
He's taking a piss. No one avoided Johnny Nelson avoided Enzo Maccarinelli. Johnny Nelson avoided Enzo Maccarinelli, in my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but that's my opinion on that.
Junior Witter was avoided.
Yeah, I wanted to get Junior Witter on the show actually, but I couldn't get. I
wanted Junior Witter to fight Hatton.
But what's that? But hold on a minute. What's this got to do with Joe Joyce having relying on his chin though?
Absolutely.
What's this got to do with Joe Joyce not knowing how to throw a jab and bring his hands back to his chin? What's it got to do with that?
I don't know. You tell me. How did we get there?
There you go.
I'm sure somebody will bring us back into it.
Maybe you want to coach him. Right, Ingram, let's wrap up. No, see, you might be able to do a good job with Joe Joyce. Here's another fighter where the floor is just so low that you just add a few things in there and all of a sudden you could look very good. I'm serious.
Imagine if Emmanuel Stewart trained him.
I'm not knowledgeable. I'm not really knowledgeable. I can't say because I'm not knowledgeable. I don't really know much about Manny Stewart and that, so I'm not going to pretend I do. But yeah, I can imagine you'd probably get better results there.
What he would do.
Who's his trainer now? I've forgotten who's his trainer, Joyce. I've completely forgotten. Ishmael Salas. He's very rated trainer. Yeah, but I mean, I'm no expert on Manny Stewart, so I can't comment on that. Tony Sims, I could tell you how that would work out, but Manny Stewart, I wouldn't be able to.
By the way, before you go, are you going to watch Amir Khan versus Kell Brook? Gloves off.
Yeah. I think we might even do a reaction. It depends.
That's going to be absolute on fire. That is.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun fight. To me, that's what boxing's about: fun and having a laugh.
Absolutely.
It's not about dropping threats in people's inboxes because you don't like what somebody said about something. So,
do you think it's a fight of the year?
Fight of the year. Jesus fucking Christ!
What do you think?
Jesus, fight of the year.
It could be fight of the year.
Both hit the canvas. They could both hit the canvas.
Imagine both could get dropped, double knockdown. Both get knocked down in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys are hitting the canvas every week outside the Red Lion on a Tuesday night.
The Red Lion.
He's to a fucking way past it. I'm gonna go with Brooke. Khan. I saw a bit of Khan on a heavy bag. He looks as slow as I've ever seen Khan. Shout out to Prince Patel. I like Prince Patel. He said to me, I said that on social media. He checked me. He said, "Listen, I've seen Khan up close and personal in Saudi Arabia. He's so quick, it's unbelievable." So who am I to disagree with somebody who's actually seen Khan up in person? But honestly, I saw Khan on the fucking bag and pads, and he does not look quick. He looks like it's gone to me.
He slowed down.
That's what he had, wasn't he, Khan? That's what he had. See, Khan was always athletically gifted. You don't have to be technically great in boxing to become great in boxing. You can just be physically gifted. For a lot of fighters, being physically gifted is enough. Amir Khan was never technically amazing. Amir Khan was fast.
He had a very low boxing IQ, I think. I think he was very fast.
But that used to be pretty much. Amir Khan used to live and die on speed.
Yeah, of course.
Speed at hands, and he was semi-decent on his feet. He used to live and die on the speed of his hands. He hasn't got that against Brook. He could be banging trouble. Because I bet you one thing Brook hasn't lost.
Power.
Brook's probably lost a lot of things. His money. He might have even lost some power. He might have lost his chin. He might have lost some of that DAZN money he was going to get off Eddie Hearn. Kell Brook's lost a lot of stuff, hairline and everything. You any money Kell Brook hasn't lost his timing. People don't understand. Kell Brook's one of the best timers of a punch I've seen in British boxing for a very long time.
Do you know what? I was shocked at how he fell apart against Crawford. I was shocked because he's always been a durable fighter.
Maybe true. I thought he was ahead in the fight, but obviously, Crawford is Crawford. But I think Brook's timing is serious. I actually think even Crawford was surprised, even though that fight only went 3 rounds. I think even Crawford was actually surprised by how good Brook was. And if you listen to Errol Spence, I think even to this day, Errol Spence always gives credit to Kell Brook and says that's probably his toughest fight of his career. Because I think Kell Brook is a very, very good fighter. So I'm actually going to go with Brook by knockout. I could be completely wrong on that, but I don't like what I've seen from Amir Khan. I've seen too much Amir Khan endorsing kebabs. He needs to stop endorsing kebabs and start speeding up on them pads because hand speed's the only thing you ever had, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only reason you'd ever give him a chance against Brook normally, right? Yeah. It's hand speed, isn't it?
hand speed and points, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Brooks got no chin, so, you know, you sort of add that into the equation. But what's Khan's MO for beating Brooks? Well, Khan's Khan. Khan's not going to change, right? We know what Khan's going to do. Khan's not going to step to the middle of the ring and throw shots, right? No, do you know what I mean? He's not going to push him back. Khan's going to do what Khan does. Khan's going to get into the center. He's going to circle around Brooks one direction. He's going to throw jab, right hand, jab, right hand, jab, right hand. And then if he gets a little bit of success, you know what he'll start doing? He'll start throwing the 4s, 5s, and 6s. Jab, right hand, left hook, right hook, uppercut. You know, that's what Khan does, isn't it?
You know, I don't think
he gets a bit of success. He brings out the 7-punch combination.
Listen,
right hand, left hook, right hand, uppercut.
Do you know what?
That's why he always getting knocked out. That's how Danny Garcia
locked him out.
Danny Garcia is another one who's got excellent timing. Danny Garcia is crude, but he's got excellent timing. Especially
I want money on that fight. I want money on that fight. I want a lot of money on that fight.
And if you look at how Khan gets knocked out, I think he goes jab, right hand, and if for some reason he tries to turn it into a hook or an uppercut, and by that time his chin's already in row Z because he's been timed. But if you look at him, he gets timed all the time. Brooks will still have his timing.
Khan has to come out like Hagler. Or Hearns, in fact. He's got to come out like Hearns. He's got to come out like vintage Hearns first round and just throw punches at Brook. I tell him throw 8, 9 punches at Brook and hope he catches him on his eye.
Brook's going to time. I reckon Brook will time him if he tries that crap. Khan's going to be Khan. Khan is going to be Khan. Khan's going to take the center of the ring. He'll circle one direction. Can't remember what that direction is. I can't remember what direction. He always moves in one direction.
Clockwise.
I think it is actually clockwise.
Oh, it's
because
clockwise.
I think he's that onto the right hand. It is. Yeah, it is clockwise.
It's clockwise into the right hand.
Yeah, clockwise.
He'll throw the same
jab,
punch.
right hand.
No.
Jab, and he'll circle. And that works for him against certain fighters. He did that against Devon Alexander, and he looked $1 million doing that all night long. Circle,
jab,
shots and getting his shots off. But with
double
Brook,
jab, right hand.
Brooks gonna throw a right hand through that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I really hope Brook wins. I think if Brook has got anything left in their primes, there's no question Brook will just get him out of there. It's not even a question. The only reason why this fight for me is even a question is because of Brook's last performance against Crawford. Period. That's the only thing that makes this competitive for me. That's the only thing that makes this fight competitive is Brooks. It's all about how bad is Brook? How bad is he? That's what this fight's about. If Brook is anywhere near Brook, that'll be enough. He's got two. Yeah. He's a far smarter fighter than Amir Khan. He's a bigger puncher. He's a bigger man. He's a smarter man. And that's what it is. He's a smarter fighter than Khan.
But the other thing...
by the way, can I just say one thing? If you look at Khan versus Crawford, Khan lasted more rounds versus Crawford, but even never took no rounds of Terence Crawford. I don't think Amir Khan took a single round of Crawford when they fought. You know? Brook actually got his respect and took rounds of him. Khan never took no rounds of Crawford from what I saw.
Yeah, but the other thing, Brook, I don't see...
Can you imagine putting Khan in with Golovkin as well? Do you think Khan would take rounds off Golovkin? Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Putting Khan in the ring with Golovkin?
No, I can't imagine.
Just for the loss. Can you imagine what would happen? Do you think Khan would actually stand his ground and actually
just
take some shots and land some shots?
Khan's fans will tell you he was winning the fight against Canelo, and then I go, "What happened?"
Yeah, he was to me. He was. In my
and then what? He threw 1-2 and stood in the same place and tried that same 1-2 again. And before he could get the 1-2 off, Canelo went right down the pipe, bang, one right hand.
I think we had that discussion about Khan as well. Like we were talking about fighters who cross their feet in boxing, and Khan apparently someone who's going to be coming on my show shortly, who's far more technical than me. We're talking about fighters who cross their feet, and Khan not only did Khan always circle in the same direction, but he also crossed his feet. So when Khan moved to his left, his feet crossed, which is just terrible for balance anyway, and for getting your shots off. And then he walked into a Canelo right hand. So just all three of those things combined.
But if he moves to his right hand towards his right hand, I actually believe, I don't think that Kel can see fully out of both eyes. That's my belief. Because
he must do. They've got to test that. He's got to be checked by somebody.
No, I don't believe.
He's got to have a medical.
So. No,
I mean, surely he's got to have a medical or something.
Stop. Look at the fight he had before he fought Crawford. The guy he fought before, it was a 10-rounder, and Brook could not see that right hand coming all night long. He kept hitting with big right hand all night long.
Was that the fight against Michael Zarafa?
That's the fight. Right there, Zerafa.
Zerafa's actually, you know what? I gave Brook hell for that fight. Zerafa ain't even that bad. And Zerafa's kind of tall as well. He's really tall, Zerafa. Zerafa's tall.
Right hand.
Zerafa's extremely tall and rangy. Like all the things that Khan isn't. Like who's the taller in this fight out of Khan and Brook? And who's gonna have the reach? Is Khan taller than Brook? I don't think Khan's gonna have the reach over Brook. Brook's got quite long arms, right?
No,
Khan's got longer reach than Brook.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
I'm checking now. I didn't know. I thought Brook had longer reach because Brook was fucking massive for welterweight. Brook was never a welterweight. Brook was always a light middleweight who bored himself down to the last pound. Okay, I have to check the tail of the tape on that. I always thought it was, but you're probably right. I always thought it was Brook. But let me tell you something. I don't think the difference in reach is going to be like what Brook had to overcome against Michael Zerafa. I think that was the more I think about that. That's probably a styles thing. Zerafa's tall and rangy.
He never saw that right hand coming. He never saw the right hand coming. Every time Zerafa went for that right hand, he never saw it coming. He said, you know what? His eye socket he's not seeing that right hand coming. And that is what I think is going to be key in this fight for Khan. If Brook is not seeing that right hand coming, and Khan's got even an ounce of that speed left, and he's moving that way, I think he can give Brook problems. It's that eye is the problem.
He probably could. I think he could. No, he could. Brook looked terrible against Crawford. Just trying to find out this reach thing. But I tell you one thing, honestly, I'm going to go Brook. I still think Brook touches him. He's going to go.
But hold on, Marcus Maidana touched him, and he was able to hang in against Marcus Maidana.
How long, what was the date of that fight? What was the date? I'm not even asking how many years ago. What was the date of that?
I have no idea. But I see something.
When he fought Marcus Maidana, I think I missed it about hair on my head.
Oh shit! But listen. I know you say that, but this fight has got so much to it. So much to it. You know,
but it's got it's got pride. In closing, it's got so much to it because it's a car crash, isn't it? Watching Brook versus Khan is like rubbernecking. It's like when you see a car crash down the street and you can't help but look. They're both car crashes in their personal life, inside the ring and outside the ring. These are two car crashes. One of them is what he is, and the other one likes to have a wank on the webcam. Right? Well,
to be honest, I'm going to tell you.
You're right about Khan's got the reach. You're right. According to the Sun, you're right about this. Yeah. Khan's got a 1.5 inch reach advantage over Brook.
According to Daryl, it's 2 inches.
1.5, 2. We call it 2. Absolutely fine. Well, guess what? Still won't be enough. That ain't like Michael Zerafa. I'm pretty sure Zerafa had a massive height and reach. I could be wrong. Zerafa's quite tall and rangy, but that won't matter against Khan, against Brook and Khan anyway. It won't matter.
If one of them gets done in a round, what would you say?
Yeah, it can happen. I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying. This fight is a car crash. It wouldn't surprise me. It's a car crash.
It's that bad. It's that bad. It's good.
Khan is out promoting Doner Kebabs. He's out on Instagram promoting kebab shops. He looks slow on the pads. Kell Brook looks like he's got no chin left, and he's got 1.5 eyes or whatever.
He looks like he's aged as well. Have you seen how old he looks?
But Brook looks in shape. Brook looks in good shape.
Old though. He looks old and gorgeous.
And I know somebody who's in the Sheffield area who's a regular on my channel, very regular. And he's seen Kell Brook. He says Kell's in tremendous shape. He's seen him. And Kell looks in great shape. I mean, you've seen him when they met on the last week.
Yeah.
On the Kell looked tremendous. Yeah, I can hear Zerafa might be 1 inch. Let me just check Zerafa's height. It must be height. It was either height or reach. He had something that was mad. Let me just check his height. Maybe I'm right.
Guys,
please. He's quite tall.
72-inch reach. Khan's got 71. So, bro, the reach weren't that much. It was
no, but it might be the height. No, you got me on the reach. I agree with that, but it might be the height then.
So
I just thought Zerafa looked quite big that night. Maybe it was something else.
Zerafa was
Zerafa's just one inch taller than Khan. Okay.
There you go. And that right hand was nailing him all night long. And that's what I thought, you know what? Brook's eyesight is the problem for me.
I'll tell you the problem for Khan. Khan is going to do Khan. Khan's going to step in. He's going to throw a bunch of shots.
Zerafa's 6 foot tall.
Khan's going to get timed and we're going to go home.
Kell will give it 100%, no doubt. Until he gets nailed.
Kel, when was? Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not really bothered. I hope Kel wins. That's all. I'll leave it at that. I've really got to go because it's been 2 hours. I'm supposed to go for 40 minutes. But listen,
okay, why do you want Kel to win so much? I gotta ask you, why do you want Kel to win so much?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you. I like Kel. I like Kel as a person. I used to not like Kel a lot. I used to really give Kel a hard time. But actually, I've got to give Kel a lot of credit for the fights he's taken.
All of the likes.
For the challenges he's put himself in. But ultimately, I like Kel for the reason that I actually tend to like most boxers. Kel's just better. And, and maybe I'll be proven wrong on fight night and maybe Kel's a bit too sharp. But Kel's better. Kel's better, He really did master his craft far better than Khan. Khan was always a speed merchant. Kel is a lot more than a speed merchant. He's a lot more than a speed merchant. Amir Khan, actually, I was going to say something else, but Kel has always been more than a speed merchant to me. Kel has always been a clever boxer.
So what you're saying?
Okay, a bit of a weight bully. You can say Kel a weight bully. You can say all those things about Kel. But there's so much more to Kel's boxing game than there is to Khan's. And the only reason you're seeing this fight, the only reason Khan is taking this fight is because Khan wouldn't take it otherwise. We know Khan wouldn't take it, and we know the reason why he wouldn't take it, because he had no chance. He had no chance. It wouldn't even be a contest like 4 or 5 years ago. He knows what the outcome would be. He knows what the outcome would have been in that fight.
So is Amir Khan then?
I've never called a fighter a con man, but I honestly don't think he believed that he was the favourite to beat Brook. Yeah, did Khan believe he could win? Yes, of course. Most fighters believe they can win.
But
some people believe they can win. Some people believe they can win the lottery. Did he believe he was likely to win? I don't think he did.
He was operating at a much higher level than Kell Brook at the time. Kell Brook was fighting Yo-Yo Dan, and Khan was fighting Yo-Yo Dan. Yeah, Yo-Yo Dan, and Khan was fighting Devin Alexander and flipping what's his name, Marcus Maidana, and he's fighting better opposition.
He's fighting better opposition, but his styles, Kell in his prime, really bad style for Khan. Bad style. Kell was huge for the weight. Kell was excuse my language, Kell was massive for the weight. Yeah, Kell was a very, very hard puncher. Very, very hard puncher at welterweight. But it's the package of what Kell is. Kell can switch here. So Kell can switch orthodox to southpaw. No problem. He can handle, he's called him the southpaw killer at one point. He can handle southpaws, knows how to box southpaws, knows how to use angles. Had one of the best jabs in boxing. Kell's jab, when he was at welter, when he was champion at his peak, was he had a phenomenal jab, Kell Brook. Strong. You get on the inside with Kell. He couldn't fight on the inside, but strong. I mean, if you look at how he dealt with if you look at how he dealt with Sean Porter on the inside, a prime Sean Porter, how Kell tied him up. Strong. How strong Kell was to tie up a prime Sean Porter and avoid that and pick him off and hurt him. Kell was the first guy. Kell was the first guy to hurt Porter. Kell hurt Porter in them fights.
All right, let me bring a name up.
I mean, no, there's no question about it. I mean, Amir Khan's a guy who was put in his ass by the likes of Julio Diaz and people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no question about it. Khan was getting put on the floor by guys like Julio Diaz, man. Let me tell you, Kell Brook
was going Kell Brook had death with Carson Jones.
Kell Brook had Sean Porter. Hold on. Kell Brook had Sean Porter doing the chicken dance back to the corner, and he ate him multiple times in that fight. That's how hard Kell Brook punches. Kell Brook had Sean Porter doing the chicken dance on the way back to his corner, and anybody can go and watch that fight right now on YouTube and see it. That's a fact. Kell Brook had Sean Porter doing the chicken dance on the way back to the corner. Brook can punch, but it's not just the punching power; it's the timing behind Brook, and that for me is the secret to Brook. Brook is very, very clever with angles, but he's just got in his prime. He had different level timing. Timing of his punches was exceptional. You know, the uppercut is one of the hardest punches to land in boxing. Like, I don't know what Daryl thinks here. I'll ask Daryl because to me, the uppercut is one of the hardest punches to land in boxing. To land a lead uppercut is so difficult to land that kind of shot.
Yeah.
Right? Just to land a lead uppercut on somebody. That is a very, very hard shot to land. Like, for people who haven't been in the ring, that's not just some shot that you can just start landing on somebody. Like, to land an uppercut on somebody, to set up an uppercut and land that kind of shot on somebody, it takes a lot of technique and a lot of skill to land that. And Brook had one of the best in the game. And he's landed it against some of the best fighters in the game.
Brook was well schooled because of Brendan Ingle.
He's well schooled enough to. That's my point. I'm not saying he's definitely going to win the fight. It's like I said. Now it's a car crash fight, because both of them are well past it. But I'm just saying, prime versus prime. Like for me, it wasn't a conversation. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong on that. But prime versus prime for me,
there was never ever a point in my mind ever where I thought, yeah, Amir Khan's the favorite to beat Kell Brook. Ever. The only time I ever thought Khan was the favorite to beat Brook was after the Crawford fight. But when they was in their primes, for me, it wasn't even a discussion. Brook will catch up to him.
Do you think that Khan's got to him mentally?
Yeah, rear hook. Yeah, Darryl, you're right about the rear hook. The rear hook. I personally, for me, I always find the uppercut harder to land, and I actually would say uppercut for me was, especially a lead uppercut. Right? We're not just talking about Brook on the inside with somebody backing up to the ropes, always landing an uppercut to the body. I'm talking about Brook leads off with the uppercut, forwards or backwards, mainly backwards as the fighter's coming in, and he sets it up and he leads with that shot. Man, that's a hard shot. I could never land that shot in boxing. I landed it a couple of times ever, and that was it. Sorry, Ingram, carry on.
No, you were talking, and I thought it was great what you were saying. The Ingle gym, in terms of those fighters, are all well schooled in their own. They're all well schooled. Brendan Ingle was a great trainer. Probably still the greatest trainer that the UK's had, to be honest.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Sorry about that. Just had to
all
do
right.
something. No, it's all right. Yeah, Brendan Ingle. Yeah, I mean, he's a little bit before my time, really. I wasn't into boxing. I was into boxing, but never at the same level that I was now.
I think they won belts every way, everything from amateur, not amateur, from the area title right through to the world title.
Yeah, nah.
Great
Absolutely.
trainer. Great trainer.
All right,
All
let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. Let me just quickly say in closing, James Lord's wrong. I am not a tricky southpaw, and I'm not evasive. I had a spar in November, which wasn't even in the ring. It was outside the ring, and I got absolutely battered. I landed a few, but I got battered. And Shevin has seen the pics of my eyes after that. It looked bad. No, I had a lot of bruising. I didn't even feel it. I came out, and I just had bruising everywhere. When Shevin listens to this, he'll leave a comment in the comment section. So I'm not tricky, I'm not evasive, I'm slow, I'm fat, and I'm a pussy. And that's why I hide my face on camera. Carry on.
The last time I was in a ring, it was with Dave Allen, and I realized it was Dave Allen. I realized it was. I understood it was Dave Allen when I tried to roll and slip and turn him, and realized he wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
By then, it was a bit too late, and I quickly got myself out of the ring. After that, one nice body shot around the liver area made me realize,
God, yeah, I can imagine.
Maybe I shouldn't be sparring Dave Allen. You know,
people don't understand like how like hard these guys hit.
Yeah,
I've never been hit by somebody like Dave Allen, right? But I mean, even guys who are just people don't understand how hard like these guys hit. And I'm talking like British level, Southern area level. People don't understand what it's like to actually take a punch from somebody like that, especially with small gloves or somebody.
It wasn't nice.
It's horrendous.
It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. And he said, "Oh, come and mate, do you want to have a spar?" I said, "Yeah, come on then, mate." And I didn't really think about it because we were just talking. You want a spar? I said, "Yeah." So I put gloves on. We're in Sheffield, gloves on. So I do this sparring, moving around with him. And then I realised something. When I threw the first jab, I thought, hold on a second. That's not... Why is my jab just being pushed away like it's nothing? Why is it when I'm landing my right hand, this guy's walking straight through it? Why is it when I'm trying to turn this guy, he's not going anywhere? Why is it I'm on the ropes and I can't get off the ropes and slip and slide and go to the side? It's not happening. Shit. This guy's a heavyweight. Shit. It's Dave Allen. All this stuff is going for your head. I've got to get the hell out of this ring as quick as possible. Yeah. You didn't really think about it. You
eat me alive.
Didn't really think about it. Yeah.
He stood tall and took shots from Ortiz and White. So, and both of them are quite physically strong.
All that stuff wasn't registered. It was just my mate Dave Allen. It was my mate Dave Allen. I got the train from London up to his neck of the woods to chill out with and interview and talk to. It was my mate Dave Allen. It wasn't Dave Allen, heavyweight boxer. It didn't compute until I was in the ring. That's when it computed. But by then it was too late, you know?
Yeah. All right, get us out of here, Ingram.
Right. Thank you all so much. If you want to disappear, Ultra, you can, because I just want to have a word with people afterwards.
No, please do.
Ultra, thank you so much. And please give people a shout out to your channel, by the way, before I end.
No, please don't. Please do.
Ultratech. Get across to Ultratech and subscribe. He does weekly shows. Get across there and subscribe to his channel.
No one's welcome, and please don't email me anymore about being upset. No, but by all means, listen. I just say people enjoy boxing, enjoy the fights, enjoy the nights, and I'm taking a break this week for for John Ryder and Danny Jacobs. I'll be washing what's left of my hair instead of watching that fight live, and then we'll be doing Brook and Khan, and then like I said before, enjoyed it. 2 hours. And listen, like I said, for people need to enjoy these shows because they don't last forever. People assume that we have infinite time on our hands and we can just keep doing this forever and ever and ever and ever. And there's always going to be a BWTM Sports, and there's always going to be an Ultratech, and there's always going to be like, I don't know, an Addy or a Depot. There's always going to be these people, and that's not going to be the case. I can assure people. So, like I said before, just enjoy it. Yeah, take care. I'm out, Ingram. See you later.
Okay, people still in the room? Have people still here? My camera went off and my internet, I switched the internet off by mistake. Is everyone's in the room? Can you see if somebody give me a shout out or a wave to let me know you're still in the room? Again, shout out to Ultratech. Thank you so much for your input. Really love when you're on the show. It's great to have a person that doesn't agree with your opinions at times and shares an alternative opinion. That's what it's about. Thank you. Always been a great guest, and look forward to having you again on the show soon. Is anybody in the house still, or have you all gone? Is anyone in the house? Yes. Right. So I just want to finish off here. So I just want to say this is a general shout out to anybody. Let me just put my email address up there as well. Great. Thank you. Let me add my email address up there. And I'm just going to do a shout out now. Let me just do something here. Not that. I want to